on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, what's happening, San Diego? And welcome in. It is finally a Friday. And it is a Friar Friday indeed, as we join you on the Gwynn Chris program, 97.3 The Fan. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr. down at Petco Park, where the Padres will take on the Atlanta Braves this evening. Final series before the All-Star break. Matt Scraby's alongside here in the Odyssey Palace. I got to tell you, we've got a really, really good show today. I just happen to know that the Big Five is off the chain today. Scraby outdid himself. That'll be coming up in the 4 o'clock hour.
Good thing?
But before that, in the 3 o'clock hour, we are going to, our countdown today, we're getting excited for the start of, I need a little music here. We're getting ready for the start of the National Football
I mean, you don't
League.
give me any heads up on this?
I said we needed music here.
Well, yeah, okay, let me just choose the music you're thinking of.
That's the one I was thinking of right there. We are only 18 days away, people, from the first NFL preseason game. I'm so excited. All right, you can bring the music down. But we will be counting down our top 5 NFL teams right now at this moment. Take a wild guess. Who Scraby picked as the best team in football? You'll all find out together in the 3:30
Even though they're not
segment.
deserving, I might add.
Oh, I know. But, I
Not
mean,
deserving
this
at
is the
all.
life that we have to put up with. Tony Gwynn Jr.'s down at Petco Park, where last night...
Today's so weird already.
Last night... All right, just stop interrupting.
He can't
Trying to
help
get a little flow going here. Trying to get a little flow. David Peralta, by the way, is our Friar Friday guest. We just visited with him. You'll never guess the job that David Peralta had before he became a Major League ball player. And the road that he took to become a Major League ball player. That story is incredible. And I don't know that everybody knows it. I certainly didn't know it before he told it. So you'll want to hear that interview coming up in a little while. But last night, Petco Park, Tony Gwynn Jr., the big soiree downtown at the Diamond, or
Dinner at the Diamond.
our dinner at the Diamond, 3rd annual, big event. All the Padres players were there, dressed to the nines. Tony Gwynn Jr., always a part of that kind of gathering. Ello and Scraby, nowhere to be found. But how was the night? Ludacris performed?
Luda!
My goodness.
Yeah,
Is this this is going to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to try it anyway. Was Ludacris, does he appear with the cornrows these days? Or
That's
does
a
he appear with the
fantastic-
hair out to the ends of the earth these days?
That is such a wonderful question.
That's a fair
Chris.
question?
It's a great question.
Oh, good. Okay.
He actually had the cornrows last
All right,
night. He did
good.
not have the full afro
Okay.
flared out.
All right.
But I tell you what, I would go back and watch him do a concert. Like, obviously I don't need to because we just saw him. But he was really good.
Yeah, I bet.
For that's not your typical Ludacris demographic, if you will.
Right,
when you're-
fair enough. Yeah, right.
And so the fact that he was still like into it, despite the kind of audience, I thought spoke to the type of entertainer he was. He was really good.
I'm glad to hear that, but I'm not surprised to hear that. I know they raised a ton of money for youth, homelessness, youth,
Yep.
and young people that need that kind of help. I think they raised
as well as military families.
Yeah, I mean it's all for a great cause,
Yeah.
and the money that gets raised is makes the entire event worthwhile. And I don't want to sound like I don't care about that, but what I care more about was on the menu, Tony. What did we get to eat last night that Scraby and I missed out on?
So one of the really great chefs, you can make the argument in the world, but he resides here in San Diego, Travis Swigert, who has the restaurant Cali, if you guys are familiar with
Oh,
it
yes,
here.
and you go there often.
I have
You're
been.
a big
He
Cali
was
guy.
He didn't make the food, but he was the director of the food and what we were getting. And I think it was a cut of steak and like some big giant shrimp.
We're off to a really good start with the cut
That-
of
that's-
steak.
Then there was like this fruit salad type
Was it
deal.
the ultimate oxymoron? Jumbo shrimp.
No. It was. They were real jumbo.
Scraby's
Like-
looking at me like he doesn't understand what I just said.
He does.
Do you know what an oxymoron is?
You. Yes! Yes!
That was such a stupid line that it was funny. It actually caused a laugh.
I don't know the official oxymoron definition, but I know what
It is two
generally
words.
means.
It is two words that are complete opposites of each other.
Like
that are
tiny.
used together.
Getcha.
A
Big
big
and tiny,
dude named
yes.
Tiny
Yeah,
is
yeah.
an oxymoron.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
So jumbo shrimp is considered an oxymoron.
All right.
Right.
Anyway.
No, but they were actually jumbo. to be
You?
fair.
God, he was so happy with himself too. I don't know if you can see on the chat,
At
but
first I panicked because I didn't know the definition.
he almost broke his other shoulder patting himself on the back for that
No,
line.
I legitimately hurt my shoulder celebrating.
That was good, Scraby. I got to give you
That
credit.
was
man.
pretty
It was the timing was
Yeah,
good.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. All right.
But yeah, that was we had so there was that, and then there was what is pita bread with like a great hummus that they had
no.
working there.
Oh boy. You know I
Yeah.
love that.
Chris's favorite.
I love
It was
hummus. You know
it was
that.
good. It was good stuff
Good.
all around.
A very nice evening. I did see some clips of it on Instagram. Guys were all dressed up, and everybody was predicting who was going to be the best dressed. Most of the players picked Profar. I did not see Profar. Would he have won that honor, Tony, in your estimation?
Pro was always dressed well. You know what? I don't know that I paid enough attention to the
Yeah.
clothes last night.
All right. Call
But
your
everybody
wife.
was-
She probably
everybody
would
was-
know.
Everybody was dressed to the nine. I think a lot of those guys got on the pink carpet. Oh, that was another thing. I don't know what the theme was, but they had like pink carpet everywhere, and there was like no seams. So they like did this up. Like you couldn't see no seams in the carpet, and it was like on the outfield grass. Yeah, but I'm sure on if you go to Padres IG, there was a bunch of guys who walked the red carpet or the pink carpet.
Yeah.
You can kind of make a determination for yourself.
All right, big night last night at the ballpark, and a big night tonight as the Padres do get ready to take on the Atlanta Braves. A little change in the pitching rotation, which was actually broken on the Ben and Woods show this morning by manager Mike Schilt. During their visit with Mike Schilt, he explained why Randy Vasquez has moved from today to Sunday as a starting pitcher, and that's because he just had a child. So,
Yeah.
congratulations
Nice
to
job.
Randy Vasquez.
Yeah.
Mike Schilt was really funny because he told Ben and Woods this, or Ben and Paul. I don't think Woods is in today. He tells Ben and Paul, yeah, we had to move Vasquez back a couple of days because he just gave birth. Congratulations. And then he went, uh-oh. Maybe I wasn't supposed to spill the beans on that. And Ben and Paul were like, oh, we got breaking news out of you, Skip. And he said, yes, congratulations.
This is breaking news.
Yes, he was like, good for you guys. You guys got me on that one. So, yeah, it's going to be Waldron, I believe, tonight instead of Vasquez. But, really, right now, the 4-game losing streak, but the last 3 games of which it's really been the offense that has been a little quiet, Tony, and obviously you got to try to get something going tonight against the young right-hander for the Braves because Schellen, I don't know.
Schellenbach.
Yeah, Schellenbach. Yeah, the right-hander that I don't know him well enough yet to know his name. But because the next 2 nights they're going up against all-stars, Reynaldo Lopez and Chris Sale. So
Yeah.
put a little
Now,
extra pressure on you tonight.
They beat Lopez earlier in the year. Sale was the only one that they couldn't conquer in the matchup in May in Atlanta. But yeah, to your point, you probably want to take advantage of this young guy that's on the mound today. Padres' offense has been a little bit off here as of late.
Right.
I don't think there's cause for concern there. I mean, they ran into 2 really good pitchers that rammed it down their throat for most of those innings. And
That does happen.
So now you look to bounce back, and so this is a good way to try to finish the first half strong. Certainly against a quality team in the Atlanta Braves.
Padres did take 3 out of 4 in Atlanta the last time, and if I'm not mistaken, when they went in there to Atlanta, they were on one of their cold streaks.
They sure were.
Right?
They had just played horribly at home again.
Yes, and they went to Atlanta, and everybody thought, oh, no, they're going to get, blasted by the Braves, and the opposite happened. The Padres took 3 out of 4. So, we'll see. The last time out, by the way, Schellenbach, who's starting tonight, did very well against the Phillies. 6 innings, 1 run, no walks, 6 strikeouts. It was probably the best start he's had in his young career. So he's coming in off of a good performance the last time out. Here's the thing, Tony. When you have your pregame meeting or your pre-series meeting, I'm curious, does everybody talk about like all 3 guys that you're going to be facing on the weekend?
Good question.
And if so, how do you make sure that you don't put too much extra pressure on yourself, knowing that on paper the easiest guy is the guy you're facing tonight?
They do it differently now, I think. When I was playing the first game of the series, you'd go over all 3 guys that you would see as the starter. You go over their bullpen, who you would most likely see, and what innings you'd likely see them in. From there, it would be whoever was starting on that day. Video would be playing on all the TVs throughout the game, throughout the clubhouse. Now, based on how many meetings they have, I think they go over the starter every day. Whoever's starting, they have some type of hitters meeting. They go over the pitcher. And then you go from there.
Well, whatever they do, they got to do it a little better tonight than they've done it the last few games. Xander Bogaerts, Tony, I know you're just arriving at the ballpark, but is there any sign, hint that maybe tonight is the night that he makes his debut back in the lineup? Do we know?
Unfortunately, I had to come straight up here to record before we got started today, so I was not able to
Don't have that knowledge. I'm sure somebody will tweet that to us as the second somebody thinks they know.
Yeah, no, that's going to be I wouldn't be surprised if the lineup is a little bit later than normal because of that, as they wait to just double check, make sure he's good to roll. Which also means there's probably a move that has to be made too. So,
because you got to activate Mr. Bogaerts if you're going to do that.
So I anticipate a late Padre lineup for today's game.
Fair enough. The one thing that we talked about extensively yesterday on the baseball roundtable. And if you miss the baseball roundtable, honestly, that's something you got to put on your weekly Thursday calendar, because it's an hour commercial free of just nothing but Padre talk, and all of us are on there. And we talked about the infield with Bogaerts coming back and how it's going to all work. And I thought Mr. Elston brought up a very good point during that discussion, and that is, with Bogaerts back, they're finally going to have the infield defensively the way they have wanted it all season, assuming Manny is playing third base tonight. Because the first time around when Bogaerts was playing second and Kim was playing short, Manny wasn't yet playing third base, or very rarely was playing third base. He was doing mostly DHing. So an infield defense of Machado, Kim, Bogaerts, Cronenworth at first, that should, in theory, take a few runs away from the opposition. That's a really good setup for the Padres.
Yeah, here's the thing, and I thought it was a great point too. But then as I thought about it, I don't know, outside of a couple of missed catches by Luis at first, a couple misplays by Cronenworth, I don't know that the defense has been bad enough to where Xander comes back and all of a sudden it's like way better. I think obviously Cronenworth moving to first is an upgrade defensively, but I don't know that it improves it like that much more, where you're actually taking runs away. So at the end of the day, it's the best that they have because of the pieces they have and how it worked with the lineup construction, I think.
Right.
For the most part, but I don't know that it's a market improvement of where the defense is right now.
Well, we will hopefully all start finding out what the return of Xander means to this ball club. And hopefully we'll start finding out tonight as soon as we know if he's in the lineup or Tony gets wind of it down there at Petco Park. We will certainly pass that along to you. We are underway. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., and Mr. Scraby. It is Gwynn and Chris for finally a Friday. Like I said, really fun show today. David Peralta, his story is really unique, and it's coming up in about 15, 20 minutes. Don't miss it on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey San Diego, it's Cassie B here.
2:22 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matthew Scraby. It's a Friar Friday. It's a City Connect night here at Petco Park.
How have I don't have the record, but it seems like the Padres have struggled in the City Connects this year. Now that I said that, they're probably over 500 with them. But
Hey, you could go do that for us.
I could.
You can go.
I could go through every Friday result.
Home Friday results. I'm on it.
Perfect.
Perfect. Padres, Braves, game 1 of a 3-game set. Tomorrow's game, I believe, is on Fox. So for those of you who tend to believe that the broadcasters on the national networks are homers for the opposite team, tune on in to 97.3 The Fan. You can catch my guy Jesse Agler and Bob Scanlon here. They'll be able to guide you all the way through that ball game. Me, on the other hand,
you get the idle day tomorrow?
I get the that is the one lovely thing about TV is when National comes in, they take over everything, and there is no need for Tony.
They take the booth.
Yeah, they kick us out.
The booth.
So we will.
I, for one, will listen on the radio tomorrow. I can't. I'm not into the Fox guy. They do games unless I'm going to put an addendum in here. Unless Don Orsillo happens to be the voice for Fox, which he sometimes is, I always feel like the Fox guys come in halfway prepared. And I know that that's not fair because I'm sure they really work hard to know everything. But there's just no way they can know as much as we all do. They don't follow the team every single minute of every day.
Yeah, that's a good point. Fair point. You can catch it up 97.3 The Fan if you don't want to watch the Fox guys. Now, let's talk some NBA. They have been, and the reason why we're talking NBA because I think there's some connection to MLB. NBA agreed to a $76 billion media rights deal.
Better say that again.
$76 billion deal, which will continue to see that we get sports on in some fashion, whether it's streamed or on television. And it also means that you're going to continue to see these salaries climb, if you can believe that. But it's a big deal, and I'm bringing it up because I think it's not a secret. Major League Baseball's situation is a bit of a mess. I think my partner said this the other day. They have taken what was a national game and changed it to the most regional sport out of all of them. And it's become a problem now that streaming is becoming the kind of takeover, right? And the reason why I bring up the NBA because I wanted to see exactly how that was going to work, right? They're still going to have their normal TNT partners, ESPN, ABC, but also Amazon Prime is going to be involved. And so they're getting into the streaming world too. I don't think it's coming as fast as we were anticipating because the mere fact that ABC and they all have streaming services, but they're all going to use this on television as well. So the reason why I bring that, I don't think streaming is going to take over or is seemingly taking over sports as fast as we may have anticipated it taking over.
A couple of things. First of all, yes, the streaming hopefully is on a bit of a slower track, and I just, keep my fingers crossed there. Second of all, does anybody know what the previous contract was worth for the NBA TV rights deal? How about $24 billion? Yeah. So it just went up $51 billion. I believe.
When was that done? That deal?
This year. It's 9 years ago.
9 years ago. Okay.
So they got $24 billion. Now they're getting $76 billion. That is 300 times what they got before, or 30 times, or whatever. Some mathematician will correct me. But it's so much more money, and I just wonder, where are these TV networks? We talk about owners printing money. We talk about leagues printing money.
Yeah.
But what about these networks? I mean, ESPN, I don't mind taking a little shot at them right here because I've never been employed by them, and I doubt I ever will be. But I've heard nothing, and maybe you've heard the same, Tony, or different. I've heard endlessly that ESPN pays its talent and its people, who work behind the scenes, peanuts. And they're one of those companies that thinks, hey, you're getting to work at ESPN. We don't have to pay you.
Sounds familiar, maybe?
Sounds familiar to a lot of people in a lot of places, I'm sure,
I don't know.
Strady,
I'm not making any connections.
Good. But because that's not what I'm asking you to do here. What I'm saying is ESPN is renowned for paying really low salaries to people, but apparently they have more money than, even the NBA has, because they're the ones that are really giving the NBA all its money.
Yeah, I mean,
it's incredible how much they're paying.
To your point, in 98, 99, it was the deal between NBC and TNT was $2.6 billion.
Right.
And so we're almost to the $100 billion mark here. And you're right, it's only a few networks that can even compete with it, right? NBC, ABC, TNT, Fox, outside, it's those companies. And that is going to be the lifeline for TV. For live sports, I think that's going to be their main. That's going to be the jewel they try to hold on to as long as they possibly can. And it seems like at least through this next deal, they'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I'll be rooting for them, but my question: where are they getting all the money? Because we know that the teams now have all the money, the players all get the paychecks, and then by the way, the teams say we have to raise ticket prices because the players are making so much money. Which is a fugazi. They don't. The reason the players are making so much money is because the networks are giving them so much money. They don't need to raise ticket prices, but they do it anyway, and that's frustrating to people.
It is a gamble. Now, the difference is the NBA is playing in a much bigger pool in terms of the television networks they're working with. They're not necessarily worried about Fox filing for bankruptcy or NBC filing for bankruptcy like Bally Sports did, or that the Diamond Group or whoever owns it, right, as it did in baseball. So there is risk. They just are partners with a much sturdier, it seems like, company in terms of being able to get their money. I just you watch these deals happen, and I'm just so interested to see what Major League Baseball is going to do. I mean, how do you – what is the fix for the problem that you have right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel really fortunate that we still get to watch Padre games, every single one of them on free television every night.
It's not free television, no.
You know what I mean. All right, I'm paying my cable bill, and it's costing me.
Yeah.
Sorry. But I expect that I'm going to have to pay something to watch just about anything.
Yeah.
So
but why not give it
I don't
directly,
really include that necessarily.
Why not give it directly to the Padres instead of giving it to Spectrum or whatever?
What do you mean give it directly to who are you talking
because
about?
you could sign up to watch Padres games through MLB.com/Padres, right? Padres TV. And so instead of giving your money to the cable company, Chris, that you don't really like anyway, you can give your money to the Padres.
I like my cable company. I'm a fan.
Said no one ever.
I'm the first. I'm going to get behind my cable company because they're my lifeline to be able to not have to watch everything. I don't want to unplug my cable like a lot of people do.
He's not unplugging.
I have a question for Tony real quick about this whole broadcasting thing. So on Sunday, the Padres were on Roku TV, and Don and Tom Candiotti were calling the game.
Last week.
Last week.
Roku.
And so how does that work? Is Don supposed to stay neutral? Or maybe you don't know, but is Don
That's
supposed
so
to stay
funny
neutral?
you brought that up because Don was having this conversation with me the other day.
Okay, good.
Yes, he's supposed to play neutral, but there were clearly a lot of Padre fans that felt some type of way listening to
that
him
he was being neutral,
calling it neutral. But
oh boy,
he's working at that point for
Roku.
Roku.
Yeah.
So he can't be having his to the crowd zone thing. You can't do that.
Into a CSI Higgins.
It didn't help that was the 9-1 game in favor of Arizona, by the way.
Yeah,
and he had to
true.
call nothing but Arizona home runs.
They were asking me why does he do that? Why does he do that? And I was like, well, because probably A, they paid him, and B, they don't want to have to fly their own crew around, so they just take two of the local guys.
It's not just Don. So if it was the Phillies and I don't know, the Dodgers, it would have probably been Joe Davis and whoever is the Phillies color analyst.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's how those things end up working.
Yeah, so those guys get a little extra walking around money. Good for them.
Figured out the City Connect jersey record.
It is,
According to my research, 4-4, so 500.
better
There
than
was
I expected.
a couple years ago. It felt like they couldn't lose in those bad
That's
boys.
true.
In
That's
22.
true. Yeah, but not this year. They're 4-4 this year, so not as bad as you thought.
That's not so bad.
No.
I have one last thing on the TV thing that we didn't quite get to on it, I don't think. TNT is indeed out of the mix. So
I thought they had a chance to match.
You're right. That's right. They have 5 days to match one of the deals. I don't know that that's expected. But that means that with this new deal, it is 100% official, unless TNT matches at the last minute, that we're done with, the best TV pre- and post-game lineup
One of those
in the
other
history
networks
of
can
sports.
pick them up. They're free agents now.
Didn't Charles say that he wasn't going to do that? He was going to
did.
kind of retire.
He
somewhat?
wouldn't be the first person
He
to
said
go
he was
back
going to
on
retire
that
after
word.
this season.
Yeah, he's doing at least one more year somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man.
That is.
It's kind of the hallmark. All right, Scraby's giving me the break sign, so
You don't
let's
have to tell people that.
let's head to break, and we'll have David Peralta when we return. It's Friday. More Gwynn and Chris on the way.
Hey, if you're moments from right now. Before we get to that, little baseball news today that I wanted to pass along. And I wanted to pass it along, Tony, because I really enjoy making Scraby angry. And in this case, it's very easy to do. All I have to do is tell everybody the news that Paul Skeens has been chosen to start the All-Star game for the National League and watch him get fired up about it.
You have this wrong, my friend.
I do not have it wrong. You tweeted about this and were critical of it, and Pirate fans everywhere are
Pirate
on your
fans
case.
are not happy with me. But what I said was that he is exciting. He's only started 11 games. Like, let's pump the brakes on crowning this guy the best pitcher of all time, which is what we're doing.
I'm with
right
you
now.
on that. Like, I co-sign that sentiment. But in terms of him starting the All-Star game,
I never said anything about him starting the All-Star game.
okay. Well, I'm just
I
saying.
think you did. As soon as that became a possibility,
Did
you started,
know he needs?
you started grumbling about this.
Did you know he needs like 96 innings to qualify for any of the season awards? Like, he needs 96 more innings, right? It's 160-something innings that you have to have.
162. It's 1 inning per team game.
Yeah, he needs 96 more innings. Is he
but
gonna
who
get
cares
that?
who cares about that anymore? The guy had a no-hitter going yesterday.
He's done it twice,
pitches
too.
and came out of the game. It was the second time.
I am a fan of watching him pitch.
I don't mind Derek Shelton, the manager of the Pirates, if he was just honest and he said, "You know what? We don't want to put Tax's arm this early in his career." But Derek Shelton said that when he watched him pitch the 7th inning yesterday, he thought he looked tired. That's why he took him out. The only problem with that argument was he got through the 7th inning in only 6 pitches. And
that doesn't mean he doesn't look tired, though.
I know, but do you really believe Derek Shelton took him out because he thought he was tired, Tony? I think he took him out.
What reason does he have to lie?
Because he doesn't want to make it look like the analytics are managing for him.
I don't know. That's a bit of a stretch. Analytics wouldn't be telling him to get him out.
Well,
I don't think.
All right, baseball in this day and age says we can't have a young pitcher throwing 120 pitches.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he was worried about that. I think that's just what we all turn to when this happens. Whether that's the case or not, I don't think we know. In this case, I think he finished with 100 pitches, just over 100 pitches.
I think it was
something
90,
like that.
wasn't it?
I think it was 99.
Oh,
99.
Okay.
99. So I mean, I said to you when we looked at it the 7th inning before we knew he wasn't going out for the 8th, I was like, I don't think he's going to make it.
Right.
99 pitches.
But you base that on the sense that baseball doesn't let young guys tax their arm.
And that's what I said.
You didn't know he was tired.
I didn't watch
watching the game.
Yeah, I didn't watch the game, but
So.
I think highly enough of Shelton that I wouldn't think he would.
Yeah,
He doesn't seem like the guy that would lie about that.
I think
Especially
he's lying. I've never felt highly about
Now
Shelton.
you just can't reason with the guy that's like, he's lying.
Yeah.
Well, look, I am an oxymoron. After all,
You are. Thank you.
So what do you expect?
Thank you.
All right. Let's get to our interview with David Peralta because this is really intriguing and unique. And David Peralta's story is pretty good. I didn't know it, and I think you'll like it. It's right now. And our Friar Friday interview as the Padres head into the All-Star break. Outfielder David Peralta joins us here on Gwynn and Chris. Excited to have you on. And I guess I'll start with some info that I heard, David, by wishing you a very happy anniversary today.
awesome.
This is,
Thank you.
yeah, I don't know that a lot of us in the world, when we think of anniversaries, we think of a lot of different things than this, but this is your 10-year day for service time to Major League Baseball, and that is a big deal. And I think also congratulations are in order to any of you great athletes who make it that long in the big leagues.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, I know this is a special day for me, for my family too. It's been a long journey for me. It hasn't been easy, but I made it. I did it. I'm here with the Padres, and I always thanks to the Padres for giving me the opportunity to believe in me and give me the chance to keep playing the game that I love.
David, talk a little bit about that. I mean, that journey, as you mentioned, it wasn't your typical journey. I mean, you started this game in the professional realm as a pitcher, had to go play some indie ball, wade your way back as a hitter. I mean, it's quite. Have you sat back and thought about it? Because it's kind of remarkable the path that you've had, and yet you've been able to reach this 10-year mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long story. I'm gonna try to make it short and quick and fun. But I started my career in 2004 as a pitcher with the Cardinals, and that stuff didn't work. Didn't work for me. Obviously, like I had 2 shoulder surgery. I was trying to work my way up to get healthy. That didn't work. And obviously, like when I went back, I got released in 2009. I went back to Venezuela. I'm trying to like figure out what to do, but thankfully I have my parents that were supporting me 100%, and they was like, "Hey, let's try hitting." I was still young. I was 21 years old, and I'm like, "Hey, you're still young. You can do it." So I started doing the transformation. Like changing my body, like trying to work different to make an impact as an outfielder, because I was telling myself if I want to come back as a position player, I have to do something to get attention from the scout. So that's what I did. I moved back to the United States, and I started playing an independent ball, which wasn't easy for me to get a job in independent ball. And then I finally got a job in independent ball in Harlingen, Texas. That was my first team. And the funny thing of that, like I didn't have money to fly over there, to be honest, and I had a drive over there. I didn't have money for the gas too, so I had to work at McDonald's to collect money.
Oh wow!
To drive to pay for the gas. So I worked for a month over there, and that was like, actually that was my real job ever, and it was tough, but I went through that. I had to work at McDonald's, and then when my time was done, I had to go work out, play practice, and all this kind of stuff. But I played 2.5 years in independent ball. And finally, the D-backs gave me the opportunity to come back to affiliated team. So they sent me to the high A in 2013. So a year and a half later, I got called to the big league from Double A, and that's everything started, my whole story.
Wow. That is an unbelievable story. I certainly hadn't heard it before, and I think we just all kind of assume that you guys just materialize in the major leagues, and that's what happens. But to go from pitching to Venezuela to McDonald's to the independent league, I mean, this was a 5 or 6 year journey. So no wonder that 10 years means so much to you. David Peralta is our guest. He is the pride of Venezuela, as he mentioned there in that last answer. I'm curious, David. I pitched a little in college. The reason I did is because I couldn't hit. I stunk. And so I thought, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do it as a pitcher. And I was able to play up into some college ball. Were you always a decent hitter, or did you pitch because you couldn't hit either and then had to learn how to hit?
No, I mean, I used to do both, hitting, I used to play center field, hitting and pitching. But, this time a couple scouts told me, like, hey, you have a good arm, you're a lefty, and it's going to be more easy. That's what he said, more easy to make it to the big league, because there's not a lot of good left-handed pitchers in the big league, so it's going to be much, more easy for you than, outfielder. And I was like, okay, so let's start pitching. But I used to love, I love playing outfielder and everything when I was little. And I used to hit not for power, but I used to hit a lot of line drive and everything. And that's what I was like, okay, I'm going to start pitching. So I want to play baseball. I want to be a professional baseball player. And that's what they told me, and I did it. So I'm assuming that's why my shoulder couldn't handle that. Mm-hmm. That's why I had 2 surgery on my shoulder. So, but I think things happen for a reason, and it meant to be that way, because all that I went through to get to this point, helped me to become a better man, to become a better person, better husband, better father, better teammate, and grow up as a person. And if you asking me, hey, if you have to go back on time, will you change anything? I will tell you no. I will do the same thing, and I will go through the same, all that I went through to make it to this point again, because it was a journey for me. It was hard, but I put a lot of hard work, dedication, discipline to get to this point. So
that's an amazing story, David. It's just a reminder to people out there that, if you put your mind to something that you really want to do, no matter what the obstacles are put in front of you, it can be done. Now, David, you're here with the Padres, and you're playing on an offense that It's one of the better offenses in the National League, and you're playing a little bit different role than you had in Arizona. How have you transitioned from being pretty much an everyday guy to kind of getting the starts against the right-handed pitching and kind of spot starting here and there?
You have to understand the game, and you have to, adjust to the game, and for me, like, I understand my role, and I always prepare myself the same way. It doesn't matter if I'm not playing that game that day, if I'm going to start a lineup or not. But I'm always ready because I know it's always going to be an opportunity for me to pinch hit or do something to help the team. So I always tell the manager, like, hey, don't worry about me. I'll be ready. And I learned that from, years by years, like how to prepare myself to pinch hit and all this kind of stuff. So I was trying to talk to the young guys here, like, hey, you got to watch the game. You got to know the situation where it can be your opportunity to pinch hit for these guys. So you need to be ready. You have to go to the cage, stretch, be loose, get your swing, and be ready when the manager tells you to go to hit. So that's what I've been doing. And when I get the opportunity to start in the lineup, I just have to go out there and have fun and do my job.
David Peralta has been doing a really nice job for the Padres, and I've been saying that the entire time. And, I was really excited when you came here. I mean, watching you in Arizona, you win a Silver Slugger one year, you win a Gold Glove the next year. That tells me right there, pretty good all-around player, and, you've proven that over time. And that helped take you to the World Baseball Classic to represent Venezuela. What did that mean to you?
Well, that means everything for me. I think, like, play in the World Classic, represent your country, wearing the jersey, knowing the whole country, the whole Venezuela is watching you, and what we did was really special. I think, like, for me, I would say I never made it to the All-Star team in the big league, but for me, the World Classic was my All-Star. Was my All-Star again, and because I was around with superstar players, playing against superstar players to USA. We play against the Dominican, the Puerto Rico. It was unbelievable. It was so electric, like the energy. I love it. It was special for me.
David Peralta joins us here on Gwynn and Chris. And David, we're getting close to the break. Just kind of explain to people, you guys have gone through the attrition. The season started in March, and you get to this point. I imagine there's some light at the end of the tunnel in terms of being able to get some rest. How do you guys keep your mind locked in to finish through these last 3 games before you guys get a little break?
Well, we're going to keep the same mentality every day. I know we have 3 games left. We're going to give everything we got these 3 games. I know, like, the last few games we haven't do the way get the result that we wanted, but it's baseball. We have to understand that it's baseball, and a lot of things it's going to go your way, and a lot of things it's going to go the other way. But we got to finish strong, and it's always good to get a little break, especially mentally, because these games is so hard, and as people like, a lot of people have to understand, like, this is not an easy game. It's not physical. It's physical, but it's a lot of mental. So sometimes you're going to need, like, we need that mental break, like a few days, like the days that we're going to have in the break, to reset your mind, spend a little time with the family, refresh, and then come back and finish strong the second half, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, I don't know how frustrated you were the other day at the end of that ball game, but when you hit that line drive in the 9th inning, I thought game was tied. And that had
too. I was
you
bored,
too.
I was like, go over, but it's hard.
Yeah, that's
it's
frustrating.
Like, it was a good situation. You want to do the right thing. You want to be the hero, but like I said, this game is tough, and sometimes it doesn't go the way you want, and you have to move on and come back the next day and bring your A game again and do it again.
Do it again. I can't. I know we got 2 seconds left. Did you make French fries? Did you cook burgers? Did you work at the front of the store at McDonald's? What did you do?
Look, the first day they have some promotion with the Big Mac, and it was a huge line. I have no idea how to control the screen and everything, and they put me right away to take order. I was panicking. I was sweating. I didn't know what to do, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" My first day, and then they just switched me to drive-through. And I was doing a little better over there, But with McDonald's, you have to keep everything like moving really quick, and then you say, you know what, David, go start doing fries and keep everything on track and all this kind of stuff. So, like a week later, I was getting better, and I was like taking orders and all this kind of stuff. And but the first day was the worst. I was like, oh boy, I'm gonna get fired my first day.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
David.
Well, I'm kind of glad you didn't make your 10-year anniversary as a McDonald's employee. I'm glad you. I'm glad you made it 10 years in the big leagues. Hey, it was a really fun interview, David. We really enjoyed it. Great stories, and I think all the fans get a little better chance to know you. We look forward to you watching you this weekend and the rest of the season. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
That is the idea of the Friar Friday interview right there. Give you all a chance to get to know something about these guys. David Peralta, slinging French fries at McDonald's.
I like how they said, all right, David, we're going to move you to fries.
Gonna move you to fries. Took him off the front of the store.
That would be confusing and scary at the same time.
I never worked at a fast food place. Did you?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So,
but I can imagine it being very scary.
I'm sure everybody's got their stories, but very few of us have worked at a fast food place and then gone to the big leagues for 10 years.
Yeah, that's true, too.
David Peralta. All right, more Gwynn and Chris coming up.
Hey, it's Annie.
And away we go with the 3 o'clock hour. 3:02 is the time. I really like that one. The interview with David Peralta. People probably think I say that because I'm trying to say that we did a good interview. No, I said that because he just was nice enough to give us a lot of really fun, revealing, answers about himself and, his struggles to make the major leagues. I mean, look, he's celebrating his 10-year, anniversary, as it were. 10 years with big league service today. That means he started in the major leagues on, July 12th, 2014. But he started his journey in, what did he say, 09 as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Pitcher drafted by the Cardinals. And he was so bad that, they didn't send him to the minor leagues and say, work on it. They basically just returned him to Venezuela. I mean, it was like,
it's kind
all
of
right,
messed up.
See you later, but you're not going to make it as a pitcher. And I don't know how many of us would have said, gave it my best shot, didn't necessarily work out. I'm going to see what else is out there for me. David Peralta said, no, I'm going to try to turn myself into a good enough hitter to where I can get another chance in the big leagues. It took 2 years for that to happen, and then they sent him to an instructional league. That's as low on the totem pole as you get.
Yep.
And then he finally got signed by the Diamondbacks to rookie A ball, or what did he say, high A or something. So he had to make it all the way through that, and to get to the big leagues and have I think, a pretty good career.
Yeah.
278 career hitter. As I said during the interview, won a Silver Slugger in 2018, came right back the next year, won a Gold Glove in 2019. So, those are, achievements at the big league level. That's not just being another guy. That's being a pretty solid, ball player. Hit 30 home runs one year.
You don't make it 10 years if you're not a solid ball player.
No, they're not going to just keep paying you money because you're not, you're not that great.
Because you're almost to 10 years or whatever.
I think he's been a nice pickup for the Padres.
Yeah.
Has he torn the, no, but I don't feel uncomfortable with him coming up, just like the other day in the 9th inning. That game was on his bat. And you're facing Munoz, who, in the 8th inning, struck out Profar with a slider that Profar missed by about 3 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Profar.
Yeah.
Then he struck out Merrill in the 9th inning on a slider that he missed by, about 3 feet. And then Peralta came up. There was 2 strikes, and I thought he's going to throw another slider, and Peralta's going to miss it by 3 feet. But
did he hold off that?
He held off that, and then got another one that didn't, bite as much.
Yeah.
Got a little bit more of the plate, and he hit a line drive to center field that if you're watching on TV like I was, it was tie game. That was a base hit. 2 runs in. We're going to extra innings. And then out of nowhere came old Perdomo. Was it Perdomo? Yeah. No, not Perdomo. It was a Seattle game. Crawford, J.P. Crawford. And he flagged it down, short center field. So that was a tough break. But Peralta, really, those interviews are fun because now when I watch David Peralta play, I'm going to be thinking about French fries.
It's a weird thing. I wouldn't be thinking about French fries. I'd be thinking about him trying to work the register.
Or the register with a huge line of people wanting free Big Macs.
You could just hear it
on his
voice.
First day in the job.
That would be stressful. I can't stop thinking. I get anxiety just thinking about it.
That was good.
You could tell just by the way he answers questions how much he appreciates his career, and he just is enjoying it, which is nice. It's refreshing. It's refreshing.
He was with the Dodgers last year, and then the season was over, and he hit 259 and drove in 55 runs for them. And then the phone did not ring. I mean, right? You're a free agent.
Yeah.
You played 9 years or 8.5 or whatever it is. Nobody's calling. That can be a little nerve-wracking on its own.
Yeah, you could probably think, man, I'm so close to my 10 years. Am I going to get a chance at 10 years?
Yeah, so he sounds like a guy that's really happy to be playing. And, I think we're, at least I am. I think the Padres should be happy to have him here. All right, coming up on the program, as Tony starts to prepare for his TV duties. And when he's got TV, we don't get him as often on the show as we do when he's doing radio, because there's a lot more that goes into preparing for TV work. But he will be back for our countdown of the top 5 NFL teams and our Big 5. So we'll get a little more Tony, but without that, we got Daily Gambit right about here. And Scraby, let's go.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Well, nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in the Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. Finally, Jacob noticed my shirt in the chat. It's Friday the 12th, and I have my Sad Jason shirt on. Because he's looking at the calendar, and it says Friday the 12th. And
he missed
sad.
it by one day because it's not Friday the 13th. I noticed that, too. Here's the funny thing. Who is it? Jason noticed it in the chat?
Yeah.
Jacob. Oh, Jacob. Yeah, your Friday the 12th shirt. How many times per year does the 12th of a month land on a Friday? One or two?
Not many.
But you wear that shirt every time without fail.
For sure.
That
I
happens.
You
would never miss that.
And you know what's funny? If it's near the 12th, I look at and I'm going to work or something, I make sure I know that it's not Friday the 12th, and I'm missing out on wearing it or something.
Yeah. I mean, you can set your clock to it or your calendar to it by Scraby wearing that Friday the 12th shirt.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up real quick because Jason
let me
needed
see the sad look on Jason's face. You can just show the camera. I'll look at it. There it is.
There we go.
There's the forlorn hockey mask. You've got the sword.
It's not a sword. It's a knife.
Oh, it's a knife. That's a knife. Anyway, he's all upset because it's not the day he can attack people.
Good point. That's exactly why he's upset.
That's funny.
All right. Anyway,
how'd we do on our picks?
Phillies and Dodgers. Phillies were -1.5 on the run line over the Dodgers. You chose the Phils. Tony and I chose the Dodgers. Phillies swept the Dodgers by winning 5-1 yesterday.
Yeah.
That series wasn't even close, it seemed like.
One game was close.
The middle game.
The Dodgers lost on a fly ball that died on the warning track.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
look,
the Phillies look scary.
The Dodgers are having their problems because they have almost their entire pitching staff hurt.
That's true.
Ask the Padres how that is.
Yeah,
Not great.
Yamamoto.
Whatever happened to Yamamoto?
He's still injured.
I mean, I forgot all about this guy.
Tricep tightness.
Yeah, I know Buehler obviously is out. I know Kershaw still hasn't come back. I know that Glass now is on the Fugazi list.
He had the Fugazi
Yeah,
IL.
but I didn't know that Yamamoto, yeah. So let me just real quick, just for fun. Here's the Dodger rotation heading into the final weekend before the All-Star break. Paxton, Wrobleski.
Oh, yeah, old Wrobleski.
Wrobleski is a Dodger. I don't know who that is. Paxton today, and they don't even have anyone scheduled for Sunday yet.
They're still trying to figure it out.
But really, the only guy that started the season in the Dodger rotation that's there now is Paxton. And Miller, who was kind of a young up-and-coming, supposed to be, he just got sent back to the minors.
Yeah.
That's, and there's no Mookie Betts.
Now is the time for the Padres to win some games. They have to win some games.
It'd be nice to put a little pressure on those guys.
A little bit of pressure.
And we just assume that the Dodgers have already won the division. And the fact of the matter is, as good as they still are, they got
some holes in their
they're somewhat catchable.
Yes.
They're missing a lot right now.
All right, I'm going to go through the rest of this quick because we need to speed up. Castillo, or who pitched more innings yesterday? Luis Castillo of the Mariners or Max Fried of the Braves? You guys said Castillo. I said Fried. Turns out both of us are right because they both pitched 6 innings.
They did. They both pitched well. Castillo shut out as the Mariners whipped the Angels. Fried allowed one run, but that cost him in a 1-0 loss to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. The A's and the Red Sox over under a total of 10 runs. Chris went over. Tony and I went under. It was under 7-0 Red Sox. Djokovic minus 6.5 games over Musetti. You two, Chris and Tony, chose Musetti. I chose Djokovic, and Djokovic only won by 5 games, so you guys win the bet.
He did win in straight sets, though.
Yeah, 6-something.
So Djokovic is back in the Wimbledon final.
It's crazy,
but it was a little, Musetti gave him a run for his money, but never really threatened to beat him. Djokovic always plays those big points.
Alcaraz and Medvedev over under 39.5 games. We all went over. We were all correct. They went 42 games.
And it was Alcaraz who prevailed there.
So we got him in the finals against Djokovic.
So we got Alcaraz against Djokovic, which is a rematch of last year's Wimbledon final.
All right. Who won? Djokovic.
No. I think Alcaraz won last year. I'll have to look that up to be sure. Go ahead. Liberty
were 9.5-point favorites over the Chicago Sky. You guys chose the New York Liberty. I chose the Sky. I was wrong because the Liberty won 91-76, so not even close there. Angel Reese over under 12.5 rebounds. Did she get her double-double? Her record-extending double-double. Chris and Tony said over. I said under. It was under, but she did get her double-double. She had 10 rebounds.
She had 10 rebounds. She needed to get 12.5 to go the over. And for the second consecutive game, she scored a bucket late in the game to get her double-double. Life is not going to be able to continue if Angel Reese's streak doesn't continue.
Alcaraz, I think,
it's
won.
a real big deal. Yes, Alcaraz did beat Djokovic last year in a 5-setter to win at Wimbledon, so they'll face off again.
All right, what do we got?
We got little WNBA.
Okay.
We got Diana Taurasi's Phoenix Mercury at Indiana to take on Caitlin Clark's Fever. We got Phoenix favored by 2.5 on the road.
Only 2.5.
Fever has been better since they started the season 0-6. Scraby, you're up. You're 8-9 for the week, by the way.
Thank you. I'll take the Fever at home.
Taking Indy plus. I think Phoenix is still a little better than Indy, so I'll take Phoenix here. I'm 12-5, having a good week. Caitlin Clark over under 18.5 points tonight. Let me see. I wanted to do this because I wanted to see what her scoring average is right about now.
I think it's like around 16.5, 17 points.
I think she's having a good season. This whole Angel Reese double-double streak
has taken some headlines away from her.
Has taken all the headlines away from Caitlin Clark, which is right? It should be. Probably isn't bad for Caitlin Clark.
No, she can
to let her
kind
just
of
play a little
now.
bit.
Yeah.
Although, this Rookie of the Year award in the WNBA is turning into a big deal. You honestly have people lining up on the Angel Reese side or the Caitlin Clark side, and there doesn't seem to be any in between. And frankly, everybody, it's just a Rookie of the Year award, so everybody should kind of come together and calm down about that just a tad.
It's good for the WNBA, but there's so many people that are so upset. Like you said, they're one side or the other. There's no in between.
Right. Who's going to be? It's Caitlin Clark. It's totally Angel Reese. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I hate you. I can't stand you. Yeah. What?
That's what people
they say.
Whenever I get people like yelling at me on Twitter, I always imagine them going.
That's kind of what they do. Caitlin Clark is averaging 16.7 points per game.
Look at me.
So you were right on it.
Over under 18.5.
I'm first. She's at home tonight, so she's comfortable. I'll say over. What about you?
I'm going to go over as well.
We're both going over. All right, one more WNBA. The Las Vegas Aces, two-time defending champs, got off to a slow start this season, but they bounced back. Now they're 14-7. They're on the road against Adam Klug's Atlanta Dream.
Okay.
The Dream is the opposite, 7-14.
Okay.
Vegas is a 14.5-point pick on the road. You up for that?
Yeah, I'll go Aces. They keep
Las Vegas
showing me that they're better.
They are better, but I'll take Atlanta. That's too many points at home. On to tomorrow morning, the Wimbledon Women's Final. One of my new favorites here, Jasmine Paolini
Okay.
The 7 seed taking on the Czech Republic's Barbara Krejcikova in the final. Paolini's in her second consecutive Grand Slam final. Also made the finals at the French. Krejcikova has won a French Open title before, but never Wimbledon. Over under 22.5 total games. So basically, do you think it'll go 3 sets? Or will it be decided in 2? This has 3 sets written all over it, Scraby.
I'm going to go under.
You're going to go under anyway.
Yes.
I'm going over. Okay. The men's final is Sunday, and that's Alcaraz and the Joker. And guess who's favored? Just for fun.
The Joker?
Alcaraz is favored. He beat him in the final last year. He's a slight favorite by 1.5 games. Who do you like here? The men's final is Sunday.
I think the Joker, I think he wants to win this so he can make fun of the crowd. So I'm going to say him.
The Joker gets his revenge.
Yes.
Alcaraz should win this. He's playing insane. I'm going to take Djokovic, too. I just have a weird feeling. He's not going to lose 2 years in a row to the kid. All right, we got 2 more real quick.
All right,
Soccer.
we got to get going, though.
All right, we're going. We got the Copa America final. And that is Argentina against Colombia Sunday. Argentina's favored by a half goal. Now, keep in mind, if the game ends up a draw and they decided in penalty kicks, then as far as the odds are concerned, the game did end as a draw. See what I'm saying? So if you take Colombia plus the half goal and they end up tied, you would win.
Okay.
If they're tied at the end of regulation. You get it. All right.
Yeah.
Who are you taking?
Argentina.
After all that.
Yes.
Argentina's way too good in soccer. My goodness. I'll take them also. And then the Euro Cup, also Sunday, Spain and England. Spain is favored by a half goal. I'm going with the jolly old Brits.
I'm going with Spain.
Okay.
From what people tell me.
You've got it. All right, we'll see how that all turns out. But looking to increase on a 12-5 week, Scrape. It's pretty good for me.
That is pretty good.
Let's check traffic. And then when we come back, I got a quick a short segment. I got a guy on the Miami Dolphins who is making me a little bit angry. I'll explain.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'll explain what he did and why I'm angry when we come back.
From
So happy to be with all of you. Happy Friday to everyone. Hope everybody's got big plans for the weekend, which would hopefully include a couple of Padre victories over the Atlanta Braves. Braves lineup is out. I'll tell you one thing, it's not as imposing as it once was when they used to have, Acuna at the top of it. Jared Kelenic doesn't quite bring the same fear.
No, he kind of cooled off. I think he had a pretty darn good start to the season, but
Both Austin Riley and Matt Olson, who are in the middle of this lineup, also have had off years. Ozzie Albies hasn't been as good as he was previously. The one guy that is really scary now in the Atlanta Brave lineup is Ozuna. He's had a monster first half. But other than that,
You say,
Waldron gets the knuckleball in there tonight. They should be all right.
Let me see what Jared Kelnick's doing real quick before I
Not a whole
write
lot.
him off.
Not a whole lot.
He's hitting 266, 10 home runs, not many RBIs. Pretty average, honestly. 750 OPS.
Sub-average, if you ask me.
I mean, we would take that. 266 batting average would be great.
Where's he going to play? We already have 3 all-star outfielders.
Yeah, no, I know that. I'm not saying that.
You just said we would take that.
Team.
You just said we would take that.
I would
so
take
I'm saying, where are you going to
10
take
home
him?
runs? Because you said pedestrian.
Where are you going to take them?
DH.
All
just
right.
to give you an answer.
You did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Why do guys do stuff like this? Miami Dolphins' new tight end, Jonnu Smith. I didn't even know they had Jonnu Smith.
I didn't either, but I know who he is.
He used to play with the
Patriots.
Titans and then the Patriots. He's on some podcast, and he says that the Buffalo Bills fans and the stadium in Buffalo, quote, that's got to be the worst place you can be in the world. And the Buffalo wings aren't even good.
I have heard that.
I'm throwing all types of shots at Buffalo.
I have heard that the Buffalo wings in Buffalo aren't very good.
Why do you do that to yourself, though? They already hate the Dolphins there in Buffalo. And now you're going to say that before you go up there and play? Believe me, they'll remember.
I think he can say worse things. I mean, I don't find this to be a big deal.
Okay. This is a big deal.
Okay.
A bigger deal. CBS Sports' Cody Benjamin has come up with his rankings of the top 10 coaches in the National Football League.
Saw this.
All right, so I can't quiz you on it.
No, because I disagree with it.
This list is
weird.
Really bad.
It's not a good list.
It's not a good list at all.
I mean, number 1, I agree with.
Well, everybody's going to give it to Andy Reid right now.
Yes.
My number 2 is Mike Tomlin. Their number 2 is...
Your number 2 is crazy, by the way.
It's not.
The guy is 500 every year, but let's get a little bit further in the playoffs before we say Mike Tomlin's number 2.
He's got a Super Bowl in his...
I love when you say that, but it was like 12 years ago.
Okay. Counts. He put
12 years ago, it counts.
He put the Steelers in the playoffs. The Steelers are the worst team in football.
They're not the worst team.
And he puts them in the playoffs. All right. Their number 2 is Sean McVay.
Yeah, I'm not just saying that because of 49ers. I don't understand the number 2 of Sean McVay.
I mean, you talk about he won a Super Bowl, fine. But what, has he won a game since then?
Yeah, he did take the Rams to the playoffs last year, which is kind of similar to Mike Tomlin. No one thought the Rams were going to make the playoffs.
Well, then put Tomlin 2 and McVay down the line. Don't put McVay there. Kyle Shanahan, enough said. He's all right.
Tony got in my head about the whole Brock Purdy thing. When is Kyle Shanahan going to turn his back on him? It's a true criticism of Kyle Shanahan. He does not have quarterbacks' backs when it comes down to it.
I don't think I'll be honest with you. I don't think any NFL team has any players' backs in anything.
Patrick Mahomes...
He might be one of the few,
yes.
But look, if you don't perform in the NFL, they don't know you just like that.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't matter what you've done in the past.
Oh, I know.
John Harbaugh's 4th. Can't argue that.
No.
Matt LaFleur, 5th. I can argue that.
I can argue that, too.
Yeah. Tomlin is 6th. I already mentioned how mad that is. Jim Harbaugh?
I don't know.
Already?
I don't know how he got in the top 10.
He's 7th.
He won a national championship, but that was in college.
Well, his career NFL record is 44-19-1.
Does anybody ever talk about his final season? It was a bad season with the 49ers after
Number
some
8,
really good seasons.
Number 8, kneecap cannibal. I'll say this for Dan Campbell. Everyone thought he was going to be a disaster. So let's give him credit. He's not been a disaster. He's brought life to a really bad franchise. Sean McDermott, 9. I don't know. The Bills, I could get him on a list somewhere, but the Bills have been supposed to be in the Super Bowl about 6 years in a row, and they've come up short every time.
It's true.
Number 10, no way. Kevin Stefanski, hasn't he won 2 Coach of the Years already?
Yeah, Kevin Stefanski has been the darling coach, but I don't really think he's that great of a coach. But
what have the Browns done with him? He's won 1 playoff game in 5 years.
And he wasn't even there. He was at home.
It's not very good. Mike McDaniel, 11th. I'll be honest, that's too high for a guy that's won no playoff games. Sorry, and hasn't beaten anybody. Your guy, Kevin O'Connell, 12. I think it's a nice feather in his cap to be in the top 15.
The only reason I say he's in the top 15 is because he missed a lot of last year with a quarterback, number 1, when Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles, and then he lost Justin Jefferson for like half the season.
And it's on down the line. I'm not going to give you every... But
who's the last? I think
worst coach in football? I
can't remember. I think it might be either one of the new coach, like the Panthers coach, or
scrolling. Jared Allen, or not Jared Allen, Dennis Allen, Saints. Worst coach in football. No kidding. He's already worse than
the guys who've never coached
Brian
an NFL
Callahan
game before?
of the Titans, or
Dave Canales of the Panthers.
Jonathan Gannon of the Cardinals. What did he do last year to be 27th?
Tanked. That's what he did. That is crazy to put Dennis Allen lower than a guy who's never actually coached it.
You just said Dave Canales.
Yeah.
I'd be honest with you. There's maybe one football fan out of 10 could tell you who he is.
He was the former offensive coordinator of the Buccaneers.
He's already ranked 24th.
That's crazy.
For what?
That's crazy.
All right, this list is stupid.
Thanks for bringing it up.
You're welcome. But we're on to the football world, and that's a good place to be. Our countdown is next. Get yourself a gyro. If you love Mediterranean food like I do, try Spiro's authentic Mediterranean cuisine, not only in Coronado and La Jolla, but at Petco Park. If you're going to the game tonight, Spiro's down the third baseline main concourse near the Western Metal Supply Company building for dining takeout options. Visit spiroscuisine.com. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr. at Petco Park preparing to do a little TV tonight. Jesse and Scan will be on the radio broadcast here with Sam Levitt's pregame show getting started about 2 hours from right now. Mike Schilt just confirmed to the media at Petco Park that Xander Bogaerts will be returning to the lineup tonight.
Still don't have an actual lineup.
We don't have the actual lineup yet, but Bogaerts is in.
Maybe Sammy Levitt has. Let me go check Sammy Love's Twitter real quick.
Do that. Won't you?
Let's see.
Appreciate it.
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So maybe they just don't have the lineup out. We know that Bogey's playing, but we don't know the whole lineup
Send
yet.
someone down.
Yeah, they'll have to send somebody packing. I don't know. They might send Luis Campusano back down. I was really surprised the other day when Brett Sullivan got the start. I know it was a right-handed pitcher, but Campusano's still your catcher, I thought. Right now, Higashioka has passed him. I get that because he's been hot.
Is baseball...
But are they just giving up on Campusano? I mean, he's come back from the injured list. I think he's played one game. If that.
I can remember.
So, I mean, if you're just going to give up on Campusano, fine. But that seems a little early. Seems a little quick.
You know
on
how
the
they
trigger
say
there.
In football, you can't lose your starting position to injury. Is that the same in baseball, or are they just riding the hot-handed baseball?
Well, I think you're going to have to ride. You got to ride Higashioka. I have no argument there. I just thought when Higashioka took a day off the other day, that would be a time to get Campy back in there, but they didn't. They went Sullivan. So maybe they'll send Campusano back down again. I don't know who they're going to send down. Sullivan is the one that honestly makes the most sense.
It does, and I kind of feel bad for him because he was hitting really well at AAA. They brought him up. He didn't really get in the lineup because Kyle Higashioka keeps hitting home runs.
Yeah.
But I feel like Brett Sullivan is a good player. They just really haven't given him a lot of time to prove that.
He's had 97 at-bats in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 years, he's hit 206. And I'm not saying that's the end-all. I'm just saying with the chances he's had, he hasn't done a whole lot.
Well, yeah, but
okay,
you need some chances.
I'm aware.
If I was given spot starts to do a show, they would never hire me, Chris, because I need to get in that rhythm.
You gotta have reps.
Yes, reps.
All right, give me some traffic, and then our countdown focuses on the current top 5 teams in the National Football League. You'll never believe who Scraby picked.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego Zoo. Busy start for our afternoon. Got this vehicle fire on northbound 5 before Birmingham. It's over to the right shoulder. Traveling on eastbound 78 right before Rancho Santa Fe. There's a collision in the center divide. Several vehicles involved in that. Southbound side of the 805 hit and run crash before Balboa. It's got the fast lane blocked up ahead. An accident occurring near the 15. Southbound side of the 5 near the Coronado Bridge. A crash involving a couple vehicles. No details as to whether that is blocking any lanes. Then up ahead, another crash near E Street. That is in the clearing stage. You don't need a cape or special powers to be a superhero because every time you walk through the gates at the San Diego Zoo, you help fund conservation efforts around the globe. And that makes you a hero for wildlife everywhere. San Diego Zoo, every visit goes a long way. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's now time for Gwynn and Chris to rank their top 5 of the day.
Gonna grip and rip as usual.
But this isn't just a regular top 5 list.
I love it. It sounds sadistic, but I love it.
This is the countdown. And it starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we all love the game of baseball as much as anybody, probably more so than anybody. I like talking about Wimbledon. Enjoying the Euro Cup, Copa America, the soccer tournaments going on. But, come on, man. We are only 2.5 weeks away from the first preseason game in the National Football League. That's right. August 1st is the first preseason game. What's this, July 12th?
Yes.
We're looking at 2.5 weeks. That's it. Time to get our minds back on some football, people. And to that end, today's countdown, very simply, after all of the offseason maneuvering, and there was a lot of it in the NFL, what are our top 5 teams in the NFL right now?
Number 5.
2.5 weeks before the start of the season. Let's start with the football expert himself, Tony Gwynn Jr.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going.
Oh, yeah. You just go ahead and think you are the football
I
expert.
thought you were putting me in. I thought you were going to put me into the corner because
no, you just
of
go
what
ahead
we were
and
talking about before
go ahead and think you're the football expert. But I'm going with Tony Gwynn Jr. He is the defending champion on Gwynn versus Chris NFL Pick'em. So
the champ is here.
I'm going with him first. Who do you got,
All
Tony?
right,
Number 5.
5 first.
Yeah,
All
number
right,
5.
Let's go 5 first.
Yeah,
we've only been doing it that way for the entire time of the show.
You know what?
Maybe I made a mistake
what,
calling him the expert.
Scraby, you know what? I've had enough.
Wait,
of you
we go
already,
from
buddy.
5 to 1? When did that start?
All right. All right.
All right. Sorry.
What a jerk.
Jerk.
Number 5, the Houston Texans will be my number 5 team
Interesting.
this year. They went out. They've added Joe Mixon. They added my man from Buffalo. I can't think of his name right now. It's coming.
The Diggs.
Diggs, yes. They added Diggs.
They added Diggs?
Yes,
did.
we talked about it last week. Chris.
No, we didn't. We went through all the running backs last week.
Okay,
We didn't
all
go
right.
through all the wide receivers.
And I think C.J. Stroud takes another step forward. So I'm putting that Texan team at 5.
That's big doings for the Texans, who did win a playoff game last year. All right, number 5, Texans. I see that. All right, now we'll go to the guy who knows the third most about football, me.
Oh, wow.
I fooled you again, Scraby. I fooled you again.
I was coming up with comebacks in my head.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals, number 5. I think they finished last in that division last year after it was all said and done. But without Joe Burrow, the thing to me is with the Bengals, and I know, and you just mentioned it, Mixon's gone, but Joe Burrow, I think, just off the top, and we could go through a bunch of different, different ideas about it. I think he's the second best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, Mahomes is clearly number 1, but there's only one guy that when a game starts, I feel comfortable can beat Mahomes, and that's Burrow. So I got to put the Bengals in the top 5 because I think, as long as, there's no way to predict whether he'll be healthy, but I think as long as he's healthy, I think the Bengals are a contender.
That's what we're saying. As long as he's healthy,
Yeah,
and it's
true.
been a couple years, he missed lots of time.
No
It is
kidding,
called
but
Burrowhead, too.
but I'm not going to put him on my fantasy roster this year, so he'll probably play the full year. All right, Scraby, go.
All right, I chose the Texans as well. I think everything that Tony said. I think that Diggs addition is going to be huge for C.J. Stroud because he already has receivers that
he does.
He was using last year, and they weren't even as good. They were younger, but they're going to get better. And I love D'Amico Ryan, so I think he's a good coach. Or D'Amico Ryan is his name. He's a good coach.
You love him so much you don't even know his name.
Hey, you don't even know your own coach's name if it's McDaniel or McDaniels.
True.
Okay.
That's true. I don't.
Number 4.
All right, Tony, who you got number 4?
I'm going back and forth, but I will put the Baltimore Ravens at number 4.
Oh, yeah.
Derrick Henry addition.
Derrick
to the
Henry
Ravens.
and Lamar Jackson. What do you do?
Yeah, that is a conundrum
That's tough.
for defenses. If I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm never pulling the football out. And when we do the option, I'm putting it in his stomach. He can go.
Yeah, right.
Pause. But nonetheless, I like Baltimore at 4.
They're good. I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers 4. I don't think they're the best team.
Disrespectful.
It's not. I mean, I think there's 3 teams that are clearly better than them heading into the season. The 49ers have lost guys. Look, they can't keep this entire all-star team together for the rest of time. And I think you can only blow it so many times in the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl or wherever you get to every year before you finally have one of those seasons where things don't go your way. So, and I'm just, if that ever really does happen, it is really going to make my life enjoyable. I got to tell you guys out there.
Me both.
You know, I mean, having to sit here year after year after year as the 49ers just romp through the NFL is almost impossible for me and Tony. And so for that reason, you're lucky I even put him 4. I considered leaving him out altogether.
I did too. I couldn't bring myself to do it.
That would have been an inaccurate list.
All right, go ahead. Who do you have?
My number 4, Tony's got my list, or I got Tony's list because I say the Ravens too. Everything that Tony said, plus the Ravens were embarrassed in the playoffs last year after having such a great season. And I have this feeling that Lamar Jackson has another chip on his shoulder, another thing that he has to prove, which is get them to the Super Bowl.
What if Lamar Jackson just isn't good enough to win in the playoffs against those guys? I mean,
Maybe.
he's done it. It's happened to him 2 or 3 times now.
Then next year when we do our list, I'm going to put them outside of the top 5.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Number 3.
Tony.
The San Francisco 49ers. I wanted to leave them out, but I couldn't quite get there. This is still a very talented team, although there is some dissension going on in that locker room.
Brandon Ayuk!
No one
Mr.
cares.
Ayuk wants his chips with dip. He thinks the Niners are delinquent, and so therefore...
It's a cheap franchise. It's always been a cheap franchise.
They don't want to pay the man. So I don't expect it to go as well as it could this year for the Niners.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, 3 is pretty high when you don't even have a top 10 quarterback.
Facts.
Thank you. Scraby nodded, but he wanted to punch me.
No, he keep going.
All right,
we're pressed for time.
We're good. Number 3 for me is the Detroit Lions, the team that had the 49ers on the ropes in the NFC Championship game, and wasn't it a couple of bad calls turned the tide, I think, if I...
4th down tries.
Yes. Well, look, the kneecap cannibal's not going to stop going on 4th down.
No, he's not.
So, you know, you're right. Those were big plays, and the 49ers made them. But this year, I think it's going to be the kneecap guy, and I think he's going to...
The kneecap guy.
I think he's going to make sure that his team gets the home field for that NFC Championship game this year against the 49ers, and that is going to make the difference. The Lions may finally reach the promised land of their first Super Bowl.
The Lions may finally roar.
And beyond, that was so stupid. I'm not even responding to. No, it was so weak.
You should have just finished your point, Chris. You shouldn't even acknowledge that he said.
Should have been. It's time to
I
roar.
tried to,
That's
but
their slogan.
I tried to, but he said nothing.
You should have just kept talking. That would have made it even better if you just kept talking like you didn't even hear nothing.
Well, here's my last point on the Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown played Amon-Ra St. Brown, played the entire season last year with his muscle of his oblique torn off the bone. That is a guy who's committed to winning.
Yes.
So I'm going with them 3.
My number 3, the Lions as well. I think the Lions are going to build upon last year, and I'm scared for the 49ers to face them in the playoffs because I think Chris is right. They want that home field advantage, and I think they're going to go out and they're going to get the home field advantage this year. So Lions are number 3.
All right.
Number 2.
Is this me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Number 2 on the list is Detroit Lions. Kneecap Campbell. His team, number 2 on the list ahead of the Niners. I think they overtake the Niners this year in the NFC.
I'm praying for the Lions. I'm praying at the church of the Detroit Lions this year.
Yeah, you're going to go pray to
it's very sad.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Amon-Ra, that's right, my guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I'm funny today.
Not really. All right, number 2 for me, I just want to get this as an aside because they certainly didn't make my list, but I wanted to work them into the discussion somehow. Through the months of September and October, I expect the Miami Dolphins to be in this category somewhere. But November and December must be played, and I know that they will fade miserably at that point. Leaving my number 2 team as the Baltimore Ravens. You guys mentioned them. Look, Miami's season was going along okay until they lost to Baltimore in December. I thought the score was like 90-14 I don't remember what it actually was, but it seemed like they scored, 4 touchdowns every quarter. That team is so good, so capable. Defensively, they've got a lot of their fierceness back, and I don't know how you stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So, number 2, Baltimore for me.
It looked a little bit like what it looked like when they went to San Francisco.
That was
you
a
bring. Oh
beatdown.
wow! It just hit me.
Oh,
What
I
happened?
remember
Yes.
that game.
That was one of the worst Christmases of my life.
Great Christmas.
It was a Christmas night. I was all excited all day, wearing my jersey, ready for the game, and then boom, Brock Purdy threw like 25 interceptions in the game or something like that.
Reason number 10 why he's not a top 10 quarterback.
Because he had one bad game. Okay. Tua Tagovailoa would like to have a word, Chris.
He's not in the top 10 either.
Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. They're the champs, and so I can't unseat them from number 2 because you guys know who my number 1 is.
All right, well, we're not even going to go to you for number 1. We'll go to
Your list is a fugazi.
It's a fugazi.
Hey, by the way, my list followed your list. 5-4 and
fugazi NFL list for Scraby.
Homer.
Number one, Kansas City Chiefs. Until someone dethrones these bad boys, it will remain the same.
Christopher?
I got to be in agreement. And they really approved it last year more than ever before because they didn't even get the home field to take them to the Super Bowl. I mean,
very Patriot-like.
They went on the road. They beat Buffalo on the road. They beat Baltimore on the road. Those were really, really impressive. And now everybody's going to tell Patrick Mahomes that no one's ever won 3 Super Bowls in a row, which is exactly what he's going to try to prove everybody wrong and do.
49ers, number 1. Ain't even close.
All right, we're at the top of the hour.
Ain't even close.
At the top of the hour. At the top of the hour. Ain't even close. God, this is what we live with on a daily basis, people.
All day, every day.
All right, take your shot at Chris vs. the Fans. 833-288-0973. Trivia when we return.
Padres Braves today.
Diving catch and barrel.
nonsense in between.
Oh, look! Here comes our fearless producer!
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
And away we go into the 4 o'clock hour. I'm Gwynn and Chris, Crisello, Tony Gwynn Jr., the 49er fan himself, Matt Scraby over there. On Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan. On YouTube, just search 97.3 The Fan. You can watch the program.
Also, hit the like button on the YouTube
Would you
page.
please do that while you're there, right? Does it take any extra effort?
No, not at all.
Yeah, so hit the like thing. That'll Scraby earns bonus points.
I earn
brownie
half
points.
a cent every time that you...
Every time. Well, then hit it over and over and over
Let's see,
again.
we have 12 likes. I've made...
6 cents.
Yes,
You're
there
on
we
a
go.
roll.
Thank you.
The Philadelphia Phillies are so good, Scraby, that they are now in the business of just going ahead and releasing 3-time All-Stars. 35-year-old Whit Merrifield has been sent packing.
Oh, no.
By the Phillies.
Even after his interaction with the fan yesterday?
That's right. Was that a Big Five?
Yes.
Item?
Yeah, the fan called him out, and then he wrote back, and then they had this back and forth, and now he's released?
The fan said, you're so bad that your own family's probably not buying your jersey right now.
That's true.
And Whit Merrifield wrote back and said, well, they do buy the 3 All-Star jerseys I own.
He also said, yes, they've also want to change their last name.
Well, he can take those 3 All-Star jerseys with him now because he's not anywhere.
That's brutal.
Merrifield hit 199 in 53 games for the Phillies. They've called up a minor leaguer, Weston Wilson from AAA Lehigh Valley to take his place. But I'll be honest, this is where I'm bad and like I don't have a clue. Because a year ago at this time, Whit Merrifield was a name that I know popped up around these parts.
Yeah.
And he ended up going, if I'm not mistaken, from Kansas City to Toronto.
Yes.
Or was that a year? It was either last year or the year before. But I remember I liked him. I was like, oh, let's get this guy. And, because he was really good with Kansas City, I thought.
Yeah.
3-time All-Star. I'm like, let's get this guy. Well, the Phillies obviously thought the same thing at the beginning of this season because they signed him to a $7 million deal.
Yeah, he was an All-Star last year with the Blue Jays.
Right. So he's an All-Star last year. He gets $7 million this year. And now the Phillies have to just give him $3 million.
Yeah.
To go away.
I mean, he is hitting 199.
I know, but if you got rid, I'll be honest with you, if you got rid of every major leaguer right now hitting below 200, you get rid of a lot of guys.
That's true.
A lot of people are hitting below 200 these days.
But the Phillies don't have that problem, really.
No, not a lot of Phillies are hitting below 200. But anyway, I just think it's interesting. I like, to me, Whit Merrifield, unless he just completely forgot how to play here in the last 6 months, I just think he'd be a guy that I would want. But I guess he's that bad now.
I don't know that he's that bad, but it's worth taking a look.
He's been released, so off he goes. All right.
Off he goes. Off with his head.
Off with his head. Sorry about that, Whit. All right, we got a couple of lines open, actually. If you want to play Chris vs. the Fan, some trivia, 833-288-0973. We don't often have lines open for this trivia game. One that if you win, you'll be qualified for a trip to the Rio Las Vegas. It includes a 2-night stay, dinner for 2. I always wonder about dinner for 2.
Why?
Because dinner for 2 for the couple down the street is different than dinner for 2 if, say, you and I are the 2.
What?
We would get a whole lot more food, is what I'm saying.
So
is dinner for 2?
Oh.
Is there a cap on dinner for 2, or can the 2 people just go hungry heifer on the place?
Hungry heifer?
Yeah.
I think that dinner for 2 includes possibly a special menu?
I don't know. All right.
I've
never won these prizes, so I don't know.
Hungry heifer.
You also get a day bed at the pool, the Rio pool. So it's all yours. And the Las Vegas Rio Hotel is all yours as well. New ownership, newly remodeled rooms, 4 sparkling new pools, brand new food hall. All ready for you now and your next Vegas escape. Beyond the expected, beyond the Strip, Beyond your wildest dreams, it's the Rio Las Vegas, the Rhythm of Vegas. Book now at riolasvegas.com. Let's play Chris versus the fans.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Chris already explained what the qualification is today, but the rules are you have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before the first question, and you'll get that question for free today. All right, Chris was just rolling through it yesterday, just stiff-arming contestants left and right.
I got beat eventually.
In the tiebreaker.
Oh.
Let's start with, let's go with Mike today. Let's start with Mike. Hello, Mike. Are you there?
Howdy do.
Howdy do. Are you ready to play?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. What color are the stadium seats at Petco Park? Sorry, say it one more time.
Blue.
Blue is right. Navy blue, but blue is right. Chris had this look in his eye like
I really didn't know for sure. Blue is a good guess because that's what they were wearing when Petco Park was built.
Yeah.
So,
and it would be a little expensive, I think, to replace every seat.
It's pretty
in the
funny
stadium.
though that I couldn't think of it offhand. I've only stared at that, those seats 8,000 times without knowing what color they are.
All right, Mike, you're on to question number 2. Who is the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays?
Boy.
Oh, my God. That's going to be a tough one. I'll just play it safe and say Cito Gaston.
It's going with Cito Gaston.
Who the heck?
Well, Cito was the manager of the 92-93 Blue Jays.
Okay, well, that makes sense. At least you gave me a Blue Jays answer, but that is incorrect.
The Joe Carter home run.
Oh, yeah.
Cito Gaston was the guy there.
Okay.
I'm not so sure that Cito Gaston didn't even spend a little time as a Padre way back when, outfielder.
All right, well, do you have an answer to this question?
I'm delaying while I try to
Well,
think
I'm going to
of
have to buzz you, sir.
Oh, stop it. John Schneider?
I'm delaying. Sorry about that, Mike.
Yeah, Cito Gaston played for the Padres 69. He was an all-star for the Padres in 1970.
Good memory there.
Well, I didn't remember that. I had to look it up. But he had 29 homers for the Padres
29
in 1970.
is a lot of homers.
Especially if you go back to San Diego / Qualcomm Stadium before they put the inside fence in. You had to hit it over that huge, tall 15-foot fence.
Oh, wow.
To homer in those days.
Wow.
Cito Gaston. Good slugger.
All right. Let's go to our next contestant. Can we move on now?
Well, you were incredulous, Cito Gaston, who the hell was that?
I know, that was a little over the top.
Yeah.
Let's go to Jason. Hello, Jason.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Hi,
Pretty
Jason.
good. Are you ready?
Yeah, real quick, I just wanted to say what's up real quick to Chris because we share a birthday, so happy birthday to you.
Oh, very good. June 22nd.
Yeah, we'll never forget your birthday now because Chris beats me over the head with his every other day.
Just stop it. We also share with Meryl Streep and Clyde Drexler.
Wow,
in case you were wondering.
Yeah, there's not a lot of us out there.
Yeah.
There's Jason, Chris, Clyde the Glide, and Meryl Streep.
There we go. That's a Mount Rushmore right there.
All right, here we go, Jason. Question number 1. The best pitcher of all time, Paul Skeens, pitched for what college?
Best pitcher of all time.
LSU.
LSU is correct.
I was trying to think way back when, to when he was in college, since he's the best pitcher now of all time.
Well, haven't you seen the headlines?
I know you. I know you're just.
I'm not mad at the guy.
Yes, you hate him.
All right, here we go.
You
Question
don't like
number
his
2.
girlfriend either, by the way. I'm just passing that info along to people.
I didn't say anything about that. We'll talk about that later if you want to, but I didn't say I hated her. Which National League Central player has struck out the most in baseball so far this season?
National League Central.
Need an answer.
Gotta get an answer.
Daily Cruz.
Nailed it.
I believe that you weren't cheating either. I believe that. Wow, that was pretty darn good. Yes.
He nailed it. Ellie De La Cruz is the leader in whiffs.
He struck out like 126 times so
Very
far
good.
this season.
Very good.
All right,
I don't think I would have got that.
Question. Really?
I might have thought of him, but I hadn't thought of him yet.
All right, here we go, Jason.
Somebody got the Cardinals.
Oh, and the Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals have been good, so.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Question number 3. What was the first American city to host a Summer Olympics?
Summer Olympics. I'm going to have to go with Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Now, Chris, you attended these Olympics.
The first ones?
Yes.
Well, it's funny that he just was trying to predict a strikeout guy from the Cardinals, because I'm pretty sure the answer to this is St. Louis.
Wow. How do you know that?
1904.
How do you even know the year? Sorry, Jason. Thanks for playing.
One of those things that sticks in my head. Sorry, Jason, but thanks for sharing our birthday. We'll definitely celebrate again next time around.
All right, let's see who's next longest holding on the list. It would be Ryan in Chula Vista. Ryan,
hi,
hello.
Ryan.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
Not
Me
much,
and my
man.
mom
Sorry?
Me and my mom are gonna play.
Oh, awesome.
All right,
What's your mom's
good.
name?
What's your mom's name?
Julissa.
Hulisa.
All right, good.
We got Ryan and Hulisa. Here we go.
Let's go.
Question number 1. Who is the oldest player on the Padres right now?
Vander Bogart.
Xander Bogaerts.
That's a buzz.
Stay there, Ryan.
That's a good question. The oldest Padre.
I couldn't even begin to guess. I had to look it up.
Man. David Peralta?
Wow.
He just popped into my head because he was on the show today.
Sorry about that, Ryan.
Sorry, Ryan and Elisa. I got lucky there.
Wait, I'm looking at. Wait. Hold on.
Oh no! Wait a minute. You're reneging on that now.
Is Yu Darvish not currently on the 40-man roster?
That's a good question. He might be older than Peralta.
Because he's not on my list of 2024
Yeah, he's not
Padres.
active right now. He's on the some odd crazy list.
He's on the NFI not the NFI, the restricted list.
You know, you could give Ryan and Elisa another chance at a number 1, because I think that was kind of a fugazi question.
I'll just say Yu Darvish counts.
No, I think he just, he's got to
just don't want to
one.
waste my questions.
Oh, you're wasted that one.
Yeah.
Let's go with number 1. Ryan, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, good. You're still alive. Here we go. Question number 1 again.
Oh, I told you I didn't want to waste my questions.
Just waste
but okay.
one.
Where did David Peralta work before he was a major leaguer?
Oh, well, if you heard the interview, this is an easy one.
The big old McDonald's.
There you go.
McDonald's
I
is
like it,
correct.
Ryan. You were listening. You're paying attention. Very
See,
good.
as soon as I saw Yu Darvish on the chat, I was like, you know what? Yu Darvish, I think, might be closing in on 40, but I looked at the 40-man roster. I do not see his name
Right, he's
there.
not on there because he's on
that list. Okay.
Some sort of restricted list.
All right, Ryan, you were still alive.
But I'll tell you one thing. I will say this about our chat. They don't miss anything.
No, they do
right?
not.
If you make the most simple mistake, somebody's going to be on you.
Which
usually it's me, but sometimes it's not.
You know, I do appreciate it, but at the same time, it drives me insane. But but that just means I care about you if you drive me insane.
Darvish is 37, Peralta 36.
All right. Well, okay.
All right, Ryan, move on.
Here
Question
we go.
2.
Question
and
2.
Lisa.
Yes. I'm going to give you players' names. You're going to tell me what team they played for together. Jurickson Profar, Chris Bassett, Matt Olson.
The Rockies.
Rockies.
Sorry about that.
I think I know this one, too. I'm pretty sure it's the A's. Sorry. I feel bad because I liked Ryan and Ulisa, and I didn't even get to know Ulisa.
Oh, by the way, when you said the chat gets on us, Adam Paul, I'm just going to name him, is one of those guys or people who gets on us. And he said, we hold you to high standards because you should know things.
Yeah, he's right.
But geez.
Here's the thing. He's right, but I just don't go into this, pretending to know everything. I know people think that maybe because I do Chris versus the fans and this, but I don't mind that I don't know everything. That means there's still stuff to know.
I definitely don't know everything.
Yeah. So we don't, but it's a good point, Adam Paul. But we don't claim perfection. So it's good that we have you guys checking up on us.
All right. Let's go to the next.
And sometimes we do just make a mistake. Like, you do research for something and you look something up and there's another angle that you didn't check.
And also, if we're going to talk about this, the sports radio show has changed. There's something called the internet. And if people are curious about something, they can go look it up.
And they do.
Yeah, and they do. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to our next contestant, Ollie. Hello, Ollie. Oh, you got to turn down that radio.
Turn down your radio, Ollie, and you're all set to go.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. I don't have a question number 1.
Really?
Who did the Dodgers just get swept by? What team?
The Dodgers just got swept by the Phillies.
The Phillies is correct.
We enjoy it.
They're losing right now to the Tigers, 3-0.
Uh-oh.
All right, here we go. Question number 2.
It's Dodger blue-hoo right now.
Blue-hoo.
Dodgers.
We know Bronny James was picked in the second round of the NBA draft, but what pick overall was he?
Let's say 57.
50. Apparently Chris knows this.
Just missed it.
Sorry about that, Ollie.
Sorry, Ollie. I don't drive 55.
Oh my God.
They made such a big deal out of it. It was like burned into my conscience.
Okay. All right.
Sorry,
Ollie.
Ollie.
We're going tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker. I say today's tiebreaker guy is Byron Buxton.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. He just popped into my head. He's
Byron
right here on
Buxton.
the lineup list. I'm waiting for a Padre lineup still.
Yeah, we still not gotten.
Not official yet.
All right, Byron Buxton. Go into his career stats right this moment.
All right.
And then we'll get someone on the phone. Chris, you usually choose who goes.
Oh, yes, because this is kind of a 50-50 thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going with line 3.
3, which is Robin. Hello, Robin.
Hello.
Hey, Robin.
Hello. Is your name Robin?
I'm Robin.
Okay, perfect.
Wait,
Just wanted to make sure.
I don't want to give too much.
Player?
You got to save that.
Yeah, save that for the next time because this is a tiebreaker. So you still have your first-time player handy for next time. But when I saw the name pop up here, I thought it was the old Ram quarterback, Roman Gabriel.
No.
But it's not. It's Robin.
It's not.
Anyway, that's
all right,
just,
Robin.
That's just me being me, Robin, on a Friday. So.
You save that first-time player.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Chris a question. He's going to have to give a number, and then you're going to guess whether or not the actual number is higher or lower than what Chris said. Got that? Finally,
all right, he knows. You finally said it right.
All right, Chris, how many RBIs does he have in his career?
Byron Buxton, how many years? 7?
Buxton. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
10 years?
2015 was his first year.
He just started.
He's been hurt a lot.
Yeah, I know. So that's why it's hard to answer this question.
Yeah, you did give a really tricky guy.
You did. I'm going to say because of his injuries, only about 45 RBIs per year. So 444.
444. Robin, is the actual answer higher or lower?
10 years?
444.
You're gonna go
444.
over.
He's going over.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
He's not over 444.
No, he's been hurt so much as 335.
Man,
for his
he averages
career.
33 RBIs a year. And they talked about this guy as like a Hall of Famer.
Well, the most RBIs he's ever had in a season, he's done 51 twice.
Man, Byron Buxton, overrated.
He hasn't played more than 80, or he played 92 games in 2022, and that's the second most of his career.
Overrated.
All right, roll the die.
I love this die. Alex, Cardiff.
Alex, let's go, Alex. Are you ready?
Hello. I'm ready.
All right, Chris. How many stolen bases does he have in his career?
444. No. 10 years. He's got to have at least 5. He doesn't play.
I know, you gave it the trickiest guy of all.
88.
88 RBIs, or stolen bases. Alex, is the actual answer higher or lower?
I'm going to go higher.
You're going to go higher. You would be correct.
All right.
Nice job. I'm trying to get the applause. There it is.
Very good, Alex.
Hang on, Alex. I'll get you in the break. The actual answer was, you were really close, Chris. 91 RBIs. So you said 88.
91 steals.
Yes.
Yeah, you said RBI.
I keep saying RBIs. You mean steals. Yes.
It's all right. All right, we've got to take a break. We're a little past that. Stick around. Big Five is coming up. Tony will rejoin us for that segment.
Oh, my gosh. Look at the time.
Gwynn and Chris.
From the 90s.
28? Man.
We cannot do this
Whoever the
anymore.
producer of the show is does not write a very tight
Whoever
ship.
the host of the show is does not run a tight show. I think it's both of our faults.
Jaden Ledee made his debut for the Minnesota Timberwolves today.
How do you do?
In the Las Vegas Summer League. Jaden went 0 for 2, did not score in 13 minutes off the bench, but according to Mark Ziegler, the Timberwolves were plus 18 when he was on the floor.
That's a good number.
So very good. Look, I think Jaden Ledee is going to be a positive player for, if it's not the Timberwolves, somebody, somewhere.
Yeah.
In Major League NBA action.
I'm with you on
as
that
it
one.
were. Somebody else brought up an interesting point. I just read Andy Roddick. Remember the former tennis player married to
course.
Brooklyn Decker?
I saw them together at the Super Bowl Radio Row in Houston one year.
All right. He brought this up, and it's a pretty good point. I think you'll like it. Novak Djokovic, who's playing in the Wimbledon final tomorrow, had knee surgery like 3.5 weeks ago.
Really? What kind of knee
Remember
surgery?
he had to get out of the French Open because his knee was hurting so bad? And
kind of, yeah.
He underwent a surgery on that. He's back, and now he's in the Wimbledon final. Note to Tyler Glasnow and your sore back. You know what I mean? I'm not saying tennis players are tough in general. I don't know, but this Djokovic is a superhuman, tremendous athlete. A lot of people don't like him. Fair enough. But that's a pretty impressive. Now, all knee surgeries are not created alike. I get that.
No.
But nonetheless, to come from 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks and back into the Wimbledon final is pretty good.
That is really good.
When you consider, right, guys go on the injured list and are not heard from again for months and months and months.
Yeah.
And we don't even know what's the matter with them.
I guess in tennis, too, you're only letting down yourself if you don't play.
Well, you don't make money if
and
you're
you don't make
not
money,
playing,
yeah.
right?
And
There's
baseball,
a little more
you
motivation.
Definitely make money.
There's motivation, but for somebody like Djokovic, he's certainly already made his money.
He's good.
So, all right, just thought I'd point that out. We had a moment to do so. Big Five is coming up. Still ahead, if you missed our interview with David Peralta, the second oldest guy in the Padres, as we've come to find out. It was really fun, and you'll get a chance to hear it in the 5 o'clock hour. But the Big Five is next.
Gwynn
All right, welcome back to Gwynn and Chris. 30 teams in Major League Baseball. 29 of them have turned in their lineups for tonight's ball games. Padres, the lone holdout. Man. Although manager Mike Schilt did say earlier that Xander Bogaerts will be back in the lineup tonight at second base.
Yes.
Still awaiting the full lineup for Matt Waldron to support Matt Waldron in his attempt to beat Spencer Schellenbach and the Atlanta Braves. Game 1 of a 2-game series. Padres, right now, coming into today, actually percentage point behind the Mets.
Yes, I did.
We don't have the final playoff spot right now. The Mets do.
And they're getting lots of attention right now.
The Metropolitans.
Yes.
All right, let's check traffic and then get to...
Traffic will be after the Big Five, I'm sorry.
Well, so it will be.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
You know, guys, I cannot believe it, but we are in the final series before the All-Star break. It seems like time flies when baseball season comes around, and we have seen a lot of great stuff from the Padres in the first half. We've seen a lot of suspect stuff from the Padres in the first half, but...
Number 5.
Now that we are here, we all are in agreement that Jurickson Profar is the MVP of the first half, right, guys? Padres MVP?
Yeah. Good enough.
Put on your prediction hat, Chris. I know how much you love this. Who, not named Manny Machado and Jurickson Profar, will have the biggest second half?
Xander Bogaerts.
Good answer. Good answer.
Well, I mean, first of all, he's good enough to do it. Second of all, last year, his second half was really, really good when it seemed like nobody out there was paying any more attention and it had already considered his season a failure. You know, Xander Bogaerts just kept putting up numbers the last couple of months of that season. So, and I think that he wants to make up for time lost. And I think he's the most capable. And I think, with a playoff race, I think Xander Bogaerts, has always proven he's a big-time player. So I'm hoping we'll see it here in San Diego. All in for him.
So the question is, who do we want to see in the second half do this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. No, what would you ask, Chris? What did you ask?
I said who, not named Manny Machado and Jurickson Profar, will have the biggest second half. So basically, I'm asking you to put on your prediction hat.
I like Chris's pick. Let's go with Xander.
That is a good one, Chris. I didn't even think about him.
Had some time off. I think he finished the second half as well as anybody last year. Yeah, I like Xander. And I think, plus, if you add Xander to the mix and he's having that kind of second half, his offense could be really good.
It can be. All right.
Not only that,
I just extremely awkward. I'm sorry.
No, not only that was Xander Bogaerts. It would just keep everybody off of our back on this radio show.
Why?
Because every time he grounds out to shortstop, people call us and tell us that it was a big waste of money,
or trade him.
As if Tony and I opened our pocketbooks.
All right. The MLB draft starts on Sunday, and I've been actually reading a lot about everything that's going on, but I don't really get one thing about the whole process. There are two players who experts think could go number 1. Georgia's Charlie Condon and Oregon State's Travis Bazana, who, by the way, has a great nickname, the Basmanian Devil, which is a good one.
That's great.
But
That's great.
But what I don't get is this. What, Chris?
I'm just happy anybody has a nickname in this day and age. So that was just all I was going to say.
But what I don't get is this. Writers are saying that Charlie Condon is the best player in the draft and easily could be selected number 1. However, those same experts are picking the Basmanian Devil to go number 1. So, Tony, can you make it make sense?
And this is in baseball?
Yeah.
Dang, I don't know none of these dudes. Can I make it make sense in terms of what?
Why would the best overall player in the draft go second to a guy
who has a better nickname?
Sure. He has got a
Is
better
that,
nickname.
is that really the question you're asking?
No, it's not about the nickname. It's
Okay.
about this. Why, like in football, you take the best overall player on the board.
Not always. Not always. They did a piece last week on NFL Network about the greatest offensive lineman in the history of football and the greatest prospect in the history of football. His name was Tony Mandarich. And he was an offensive lineman for Michigan State, and he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and he was going to road grade the entire NFL.
That was the Jets, right?
No, what happened was the Cowboys had the number 1 pick that year, and they chose a guy who didn't even make all-conference at quarterback in the Pac-10 or 12 at the time. The guy the Cowboys chose was a guy named Troy Aikman. Mandarich went to the Green Bay Packers and was a complete disaster.
Yeah, that's right.
And basically steroid used himself out of the league.
What does this have anything to do with the question?
Because your question is, why don't they always just take the best guy? And I'm telling you that they don't always take the best guy. Mandarich was the best guy that year, but Jimmy Johnson was smart enough to
I guess
see
in
through
football, it's way different because if you need a quarterback, you take a quarterback.
Okay,
but
well.
in baseball, it seems like you should just take the best prospect out there instead of not taking him first overall.
Well,
I mean, but that's all. That's up to the opinions, right? I mean,
that is true.
It's the eye of the beholder. Whoever has the first pick may view one better than the other. They're both college guys, so this draft is littered with a bunch of college guys. Yeah, in baseball, I would agree with you, Scrappy. It usually should be best talent. I mean, because it's not as though you draft them and then they help your team right now. You know what I'm saying? Usually, for the most part, except with the very few exceptions, you got to go through the minors. So by the time 3 years rolls around, your needs may be different, or 4 years roll around, your needs may be different. So, I would assume the reason why the consensus, or they're not taking the consensus number 1, is because they feel like the other guy's better.
I have a question about the baseball draft, Tony, that maybe you can touch on a little bit. And I don't think it has anything either to do with either of these two players. I think it has to do with every single player coming out of college. Everyone.
Okay.
College baseball players all use aluminum bats. How do major league teams know which guys are going to be able to translate and hit with a wood bat as well as they rake with an aluminum bat in college?
Fantastic question.
I think because now, I mean, most of them go play summer ball. They're all wood bat leagues. They all
Okay,
get the
so there
chance
are
to
leagues
see
that
them
they can demonstrate their ability to hit
For
with a wood bat now.
For sure, but I think there's just a way that especially when you're watching the collegiate games, there's just a way that the swing gets through the zone that works for wood, that immediately it stands out, won't work with a wood bat in their hand.
Just out of curiosity, how long did it take you to get comfortable with a wood bat? And was there any transition?
I didn't have any transition because I grew up swinging.
Sure.
A wood
Yeah,
bat.
your dad probably told you. Yeah. Well, okay.
That is very interesting. But
It's just something I was thinking about as I was watching the College World Series, and these guys, I mean, there's guys setting records with, 50 home runs this year in college baseball, and guys hitting 600, and I'm just thinking, can they all, hit that well at the next level? Of course not, but how do they know which ones will? It's weird.
I don't know, but the Basmanian Devil I'm a fan of now.
That's your guy.
Number 3.
Exactly 6 months to that's all it takes is a good nickname. Exactly 6 months to the day after leaving the Patriots, Bill Belichick has landed a new job. The 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach will join inside the NFL for the upcoming season, and he's going to sit alongside former Pro Bowl safety Ryan Clark, former Pro Bowl wide receiver Chad Johnson, and former defensive end Chris Long, who won one of his 2 Super Bowls while playing with Belichick in New England. Inside the NFL, did you guys know what was on the CW network?
Nope.
Yeah, it's going on its 2nd season on the CW network.
I'm glad you told me.
I'm letting you know that to ask this question. Will you watch to see what Bill Belichick brings to the table?
I don't think I have to anymore. I think in the day and age of social media, if Bill Belichick says anything interesting, somebody will post it.
No, that's a good point.
And I'll get to watch that. And I won't have to put up with the rest of the ragtag show that probably is. Bill Belichick.
Ragtag?
Well, I don't know. Ryan Clark is a click beast, and I don't know what Chad Ochocinco's last
His
name
name
really is
Johnson.
these days.
It's back to Johnson.
But, Belichick, for all of his, brilliance and knowledge of the game of professional football, he is not a guy that I'm going to run towards to sit and listen talk for 45 minutes.
See, I've heard he's amazing talking.
To me, well, I've seen him interviewed before, and I maybe he just doesn't translate, but he looks rather boring to me. So,
Tony, are you gonna watch to see what he brings to the table?
I mean, I don't generally watch this show because I didn't know it was on the CW. So
no one did, Tony. No one did.
I mean, I think Bill Belichick, outside of being a coach, is actually interesting. He's not interesting when he's on the mic as a head coach, and he clearly doesn't want to reveal anything. But
that's
I
true.
think he's excellent once he gets outside of that realm. Every time I've heard him speak since, he's been funny, whether we were talking about roast or he just provides a bunch of insight. Even in the 30 for 30 they did with him and was it Bill Parcells?
Yeah. Oh, the two Bills?
He was good in that. And so, I mean, I won't go looking for inside the NFL, but as Chris said, the clips get taken, and I certainly will watch to see what he has to say.
I would say this. If I had to watch the show, I would watch it probably to hear what he says over any of the other guys you named.
I mean, he is the most decorated guy in that room. So
the only one that doesn't bring anything, I think, is Chad. I mean,
I don't know.
Ryan Clark is good.
I agree that Ryan Clark does good stuff, but he does like the clicks. I will say. Agree to disagree. So, with that awkward transition, 2 awkward transitions for the Big Five today, everybody. The Chargers have these schedule release videos that a lot of people think are pretty funny, and some of it is pretty funny. They take shots at players and other teams, but one of those players was not happy about the Chargers social media team, equating him to garbage. Here is Davante Adams of the Raiders on Up and Adams talking about it.
It was a little trend a little bit ago where, a few of the social media pages were posting some funny stuff of, when the schedule was releasing. So they posted me and then like a trash can or something like that, the Chargers did. So I thought about responding on social media to it and being funny there, but I figured it'd be better to, just beat their head in real life and continue doing it the way, because my first game against them, I don't know, they clearly forgot.
Yeah, you
like
played
10 catches, 141 yards and a touchdown. And then the next time, that same year, it was like 177 yards and, 2 touchdowns. I think it was that game. So I just wanted to kind of remind them what they've been going through as it pertains to playing against me. And hopefully the people that made that post, because it's not the players' fault. They didn't have anything to do with the post, but this is directed strictly toward the Chargers social media page. Please keep my name out your mouth.
I love it. Tony, can a team's social media post cause problems for the actual players on the field?
In a football game, yes. Football, basketball, certainly. A lot more control, especially when you're dealing with a dude like this. This is not like your run-of-the-mill wide receiver. This is Davante Adams, who, as he said, has been terrorizing the Chargers. So if I'm one of them cornerbacks, I'm immediately walking up to the social media group and telling them they need to chill out.
Yeah.
You trying to have me roasted on national TV. Yeah, no, that's I think, that's the thing, mostly it's a lot, I would say almost all of the social media content is managed by people who didn't play sports. And so when that is the case, you run the risk of popping off and putting somebody in position where they could be the one that has to deal with the repercussions. And I imagine that doesn't go well. So, it's only, you only see a few of the social medias like this. Everybody else seems to understand, like, it's not the best idea to piss off somebody like Davante Adams,
who's already been great against you to begin with.
Right.
And it wasn't that they posted him as a garbage can. They posted a Pop-Tart flavor, and the Pop-Tart flavor was garbage. So that's what he was talking about. Chris.
Well, it doesn't always have to be social media that people post that can upset athletes either.
Oh, no, I forgot.
And I'm not going to go there. But there was something up on the scoreboard at Petco Park last year that I don't think was right. And I think I think the Padres paid a little price for that, and I don't think that any of the players certainly had anything to do with it. So what Tony's saying is accurate. But on this one, I agree with Tony 100%. The only thing I'm thinking of is maybe the Chargers were trying to remind Davante Adams that he has just done nothing but trash them over time.
Okay, that's a good look.
Maybe they were actually giving him a compliment.
Don't give them the benefit of the doubt.
I'm not, but I'm trying to get them out of this mess that they've created for themselves.
All right. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Number 1.
An American Airlines flight was forced to make an emergency landing after an unruly passenger exposed himself and urinated on the plane's aisle, everybody. Neil McCarthy, 25 of Oregon, was arrested and charged with indecent exposure in relation to the incident aboard American Eagle Flight 3921, which was flying from Chicago to Manchester, New Hampshire, but was forced to divert to Buffalo, New York. Because of this incident, McCarthy was charged under Title 49, United States Code Section 46506. He faces a maximum penalty of 6 months in prison and a $5,000 fine. Now, Braden did some more research on this. The reason he decided to urinate in the aisle is because they told him he had to wait until the seatbelt sign was off for him to go to the bathroom, so he decided to stand up and do that anyway. Yes.
Do we know what McCarthy is this?
David McCarthy. Or Neil, I'm sorry, Neil McCarthy.
Do we know this Neil McCarthy?
No. We don't know this. This is
like
just
a
a random person, yeah. Actually, you know who sent this to us this morning? Adam Klug sent us in the producer chat.
I'm so glad that I'm not on a flight like this sometimes. Like, are you serious? He just got up in the aisle?
There actually is like video of this. The news article that I saw has like a picture of this happening. It's wild. It's wild. So Chris, does the punishment fit the crime?
I don't think so.
Me neither.
Here's my reason why the punishment, because I mean, I'd go the full 6 months and I'd go the full $5,000. Are you saying that the punishment's too much for the crime?
No. You cannot just urinate on a plane because you want to.
Right. And I'll be honest with you, I have been close.
Wait, what?
Not to actually doing that, but in a desperate situation where I had to go so bad, and they were in the landing process, and then the plane had to circle the landing runway 4 or 5 times because there was traffic below.
Sir, why didn't you go to the bathroom in preparation for landing?
Because I thought I could make it through landing, and then the landing lasted a long, long time.
All right.
And then once you land, people clog their way into the aisle, so you can't get your way back to the anyway.
Okay.
All right. So that's stupid to say, but I just said it anyway. But no, here's my reasoning why this guy, they get to throw away the key on this guy.
Throw away the key?
Throw away the key is because, A, this is absurd and ridiculous in its first place. But secondly, he inconvenienced a plane full of people.
Yeah, that's another level
who
of
had to get to Manchester, New Hampshire, wherever they were going. And, he forces it to be diverted to Buffalo. That throws everybody's life off. I'm tired of people your own stupidity and arrogance affecting selfishness affecting that many people. So I would double the sentence if he came into my courtroom.
Tony, does the punishment fit the crime?
What was the sentence?
6 months in prison, $5,000 fine maximum.
As the great Kendrick Lamar recently said, never let a man, on your leg, son. Either you die right there or pop that man in the head, son. I don't think
those are song lyrics.
Yes, I can imagine it.
All right,
I like Tony saying it better though.
Yeah, no, there's no way. Yeah, double the sentence.
Double. I agree with that.
I'm just telling you, if even a splash caught me.
Even the exposing yourself part off the top is enough to.
There's also
listen.
children on the plane.
I'm walking around in the locker room for a long time. That part doesn't bother me as much until the speck of pee hits my arm or leg or ankle. It's over.
As Tony would say,
walk over that spot on the way out. That's a good point.
Oh,
Chris.
my gosh.
That's a good point. All right. Well, with
Nice
that,
visual to end the Big Five today.
for the
Craig.
week.
Yeah,
that was the
week.
last topic of the week, everybody.
All right.
All right. On the other side, we're gonna get you set for the final series before the All-Star break. All of that is next. Plus David Peralta on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Up to speed on all things sports.
Yes!
With plenty of nonsense in between.
Oh, look! Here comes our fearless producer!
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Great to have you with us as we head into the happy hour. Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan. Hope you enjoyed today's Big Five. Good stuff. Scraby, put it all together.
Thanks.
And, you're going to have to track down what happens to this gentleman on the airplane. Like, I need to get a final result. How long are they going to put this guy away for? Or is he going to get off one of those deals where it's like, 2 weeks, time served, and $100? I'm like, no.
Guess it all depends on his record. So
why should it depend on his record when you do something that
because you
bad?
get off easy your first time doing something wrong, but that is a whole new level of weird and wrong.
Whole new level.
Whole new level.
All right, 5:03 is the time as we head into the happy hour, and we're going to have our interview with David Peralta coming up. Peralta is in the lineup tonight to celebrate his appearance on the Gwynn and Chris show. Funny we should mention that because finally the lineup is out.
Yes.
Luis Arise is leading off. He's back in the DH slot. I hate to say this, Arise hit far better as a DH than he did as a first baseman. He's slumped the last really month, ever since he moved into the first base role. So, hopefully this will get Arise going again.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how much I think of Arise, my guy. But if he's not getting base hits, he's not really doing a whole lot to help you win games. He doesn't walk ever. And the reason he doesn't walk is because he never misses a pitch.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike out. But he doesn't walk. And, defensively, I thought he did a commendable job at first base, but he's not great.
Yeah, he gave it his all. I mean, can't blame him. He didn't come here to play first base.
No, he's got to start hitting again. So he leads off at DH tonight. Profar's in left. Cronenworth's at first base now. Machado's at third. Bogarts is indeed back in there. Second base, batting fifth. Quick trivia, not trivia, but when was the last time Bogarts played?
Braves.
Oh, Braves, right. And it comes full circle because it's Braves.
Yes.
Yeah. Jackson Merrill's batting sixth. Peralta, our guy, David Peralta, former McDonald's employee, batting seventh. You'll find out about that if you hear our interview.
Former hamburglar.
Hassan Kim's hitting eighth at shortstop. Higashioka. Of course, Waldron's pitching, so he'd be catching regardless.
Yeah.
But I think he'd be catching anyway. And again, I wonder what they're going to do with Campusano. They are sending Brett Sullivan down to make room for Bogarts. And one other move, Wandy Peralta's gone to the IL.
Yep.
Recall he strained a groin the other night throwing a pitch in that game against Seattle.
Yep.
Sean Reynolds, right-hander, is coming up and will have a chance potentially to make his major league debut. Southern California kid from Redondo Beach, California.
That's kind of cool.
He's 26 years old. Here's the thing that you're going to notice about Sean Reynolds, so I'll tell you firsthand. 6'8", 250.
Wow.
He'll be muscling the ball to home plate.
I mean, that's scary.
Wow.
I remember when I was playing baseball back in the day, and there was a tall guy on the mound, it just was always scary because
it's always intimidating.
Yeah, a 6'8", 250-pound guy
6'8",
throwing
250,
that thing, 90 whatever.
Sounds like to me they got Sean Reynolds on the roster just in time for that trip to D.C. after the All-Star break.
Oh, maybe that's why they have him on there.
In case
they need an enforcer.
Name? Yeah, in case Ruiz wants to, talk to some of our hitters again.
Oh, why not Jesse Winker too?
We'll just send Sean Reynolds out to restore order. 6'8", 250. Man.
Huge.
So he's come up and could make his debut tonight. Who knows? All right, we got a couple of quotes from Mike Schilt. Pre-game stuff from Petco Park, so you feel like you're up to date. First, from the Padres' fine skipper, roller coaster hater, Mike Schilt. Thoughts on Xander Bogaerts coming back?
Yeah, Bogey's back. You know, it's good to have him back. He had a couple good days at Lake E. He's had a really positive rehab. He's feeling good. He's back playing second base and hitting behind Mandy tonight.
I know that you joked about it the other day, managing an infield when you have so many of them. You wish that there were 5 positions. What is your plan for managing the infield moving forward?
I think it'll be fairly fluid. I mean, Crony's back at first today. Luis will DH today, and it maybe look a little different tomorrow. And then we'll just take it as it comes, once we're out the All-Star break.
That's my Mike Schilt that I remember. We'll take it as it comes, and we revisit it after the All-Star break, because we all know he hasn't thought this through at all.
Oh, I think he's thought it through.
Of course he has. But he's not telling us what his plans are. He's telling us, we'll just kind of see.
Yeah.
From day to day, we'll kind of, figure it out.
If I know anything, there's a plan within a plan within a plan.
Of course. That doesn't happen in baseball these days.
Yeah.
They've got it all mapped out. They know exactly what the lineup will be tomorrow, and they know what it'll be Sunday against a lefty, and, going forward, what they plan to do. But Mike Schilt is just like every other manager, and he doesn't want to tell us. So,
I mean, we'll never get anything, and it's okay.
I always kind of poke fun at this, but if Mike Schilt said what I want him to say, we wouldn't like that either.
Probably.
And what I want him to say is, we just don't really feel like telling you. I want the honesty.
Actually,
but
yeah,
if he gave
I would
me
be okay
that,
with that.
But if he gave me that honesty every time, it'd be like, all right, that's no good either.
Yeah,
So,
stop telling all the secrets.
Right. All right, yeah, Xander Bogaerts' last game, May 20th. So almost 2 months for Xander.
Really? Wow. That was a quick 2 months. Wasn't it?
Seemed to go quickly. They were 24 and 23 when he went out.
So
almost the same record with him when without him.
That's hilarious to me.
Right? They're 25 and 24 without him.
Because I was told by many people that the Padres were gonna be great without him.
Yes, he was the whole reason that they were only 24 and 23. But now without him, they went 25 and 24. So
that's crazy.
Please explain
that is crazy.
yourselves. Here is Xander Bogaerts back and his thoughts on the state of the team he's rejoining.
Kind of coming back and down the stretch.
Listen, a couple days ago we were in a great spot, and maybe we're not in a great spot, we're still in a good spot, Can't control what happened in the past few games, obviously we played a pretty tough team, some good pitching with the Mariners. Turn the page quick on that, and we have a good team in front of us. I think they have the first wild card spot, right, these guys? So it's going to be pretty much playoff atmosphere, in July. So we're trying to play catch up with these guys. Obviously, I've been seeing from afar. We have a really good team. We've been playing really good. Besides the last couple games, that's baseball. And hopefully we can end the All-Star break on a high note. These guys, they're a pretty good team, but so are we.
We got a That's Baseball. I love it.
That's your favorite.
Yeah,
that's your favorite. Here's the thing. These 3 games, I'm going to overrate how much they mean. But I just don't want to come in here Monday and have a whole week ahead of me and us to talk about a team that is now 49 and 50 at the break and has lost 7 games in a row.
It's going to set us up for a long week.
Yes, and has to go through a whole week of sweating that out.
That's going to set us up for some angry phone calls.
I know.
Which I don't blame. They should not go. They should not be under 500.
Yeah, we're giving up and the whole thing. So let's win a couple this weekend. Can we please?
I
will save us.
I appreciate Xander Bogaerts because he really, and people may say this doesn't matter. I think it matters a lot. But he has a lot of experience with this type of baseball. He played for the Red Sox for years. He's played in big games. He knows what it takes, and I think that's important.
I hope it works out. I mean, he's hitting 219,
He's going to be better. I'm speaking it into existence, Chris.
I know you are. Well, you're speaking it. We'll see whether it comes into existence or not. He did not draw a single walk in his last 18 games.
Well, he was trying to hit the ball.
I guess so. I'm just saying. There's not a lot to recommend about how Xander Bogaerts was hitting at the time he got hurt. So we need... return look, I've said this before, but I'll just, to underscore my point, we're talking about a guy with an 804 career OPS, who this year is at 581. That's bad.
It's not good.
No. So he's got to bring this up, and tonight would be a good time to start. All right.
Tyler wants to tell you that he did walk in his last game in Lake Elsinore.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. I was going to say, not according to this sheet
No.
here. All right, very good. Timeout, David Peralta interview. And we've had, I say it every week, so it loses some of its steam, but the Friar Friday interview this time, I mean it. It's really good. David Peralta did a heck of a good job, and his story is unusual, so it's coming up next.
From the
Well, we got to keep the same mentality every day. I know we have 3 games left. We're gonna give everything we got. These 3 games. I know, like the last few games, we haven't do the way get the result that we wanted, but it's baseball. We have to understand that it's baseball, and a lot of things is gonna go your way, and a lot of things is gonna go the other way. But we got to finish strong, and it's always good to get a little break, especially mentally, because these games is so hard, and as people a lot of people have to understand, like, this is not an easy game. It's not physical. It's physical, but it's a lot of mental. So sometimes you're gonna need, we need a mental break, like a few days, like the days that we're gonna have in the break, to reset your mind, spend a little time with the family, refresh, and then come back and finish strong the second half, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, I don't know how frustrated you were the other day at the end of that ball game, but when you hit that line drive in the 9th inning, I thought game was tied, and that had
too. I was
you
bored.
too.
I was like, go over, but it's hard.
Yeah, that's
it's
frustrating.
It was a good situation. You want to do the right thing. You want to be the hero, but like I said, this game is tough, and sometimes it doesn't go the way you want, and you have to move on and come back the next day and bring your A game again and do it again.
Do it again. I can't. I know we got 2 seconds left. Did you make French fries? Did you cook burgers? Did you work at the front of the store at McDonald's? What did you do?
Look, the first day they have some promotion with the Big Mac, and it was a huge line. I have no idea how to control the screen and everything, and they put me right away to take order. I was panicking. I was sweating. I didn't know what to do, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" My first day, and then they just switched me to drive-through, and I was doing a little better over there. But with McDonald's, you have to keep everything moving really quick, and then they just said, "You know what, David, go start doing fries," and keep everything on track, and I was gonna stop. So, a week later, I was getting better, and I was taking orders, and I was gonna stop. But the first day was the worst. I was like, "Oh boy, I'm gonna get fired my first day."
That's awesome,
Yeah.
David.
Well, I'm kind of glad you didn't make your 10-year anniversary as a McDonald's employee. I'm glad you. I'm glad you made it 10 years in the big leagues. Hey, it was a really fun interview, David. We really enjoyed it. Great stories, and I think all the fans got a little better chance to know you. We look forward to you watching you this weekend and the rest of the season. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, our busy afternoon is transitioning into a very busy evening. Northbound side of the 15, clearing an accident out of the HOV lane right before the 56. We got this other crash up ahead near Center City Parkway. Looks like that one is still partially in lanes. Tow truck is on scene assisting with that. Also in the North County, North 5 Coastline, just before Tamarack. There is a collision stop with fast lane blocked. Southbound 5 Coastline, accident blocking the HOV lane just past Delmar Heights Road. Now a hit-and-run crash reported on South 163 before Genesee. It's over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, hope you enjoyed that interview with David Peralta, our Friar Friday interview today. Crisello, Scraby here wrapping things up. We got a minute or so left. And Scraby, you being the 49er expert, are going to have to defend one of the greatest players in NFL history. Who today lost his mind, apparently. At least on the surface. Jerry Rice.
Oh, I love Jerry.
I do too. But I'm not sure I love this. Jerry Rice lost it on 2 reporters who asked him a question on the golf course in Lake Tahoe today at the American Century Championship. The reporters asked him whether the Chiefs receiving corps was good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Okay.
Seems like a fair question. Maybe not the all-timer, but...
Pretty annoying, though, but whatever.
Okay,
It's
fine.
not that bad of a question.
All right. 61-year-old Jerry Rice got in one of the men's face and said, "I will bleep you up."
Wait, he wanted to fight them?
If you want some, come get some.
Oh, my goodness, Jerry.
Before he walked away, TMZ, who, they know everything.
Everywhere.
They know everything. They talked to Jerry. He said the guys had smirks on their faces and were trolling him. Bottom line, Jerry, who is not apologizing, said, quote, I'm going to defend the San Francisco 49ers.
Wow. My guy, Jerry Rice, baby. Stop getting in Jerry's face, reporters.
Don't ask Jerry anything. My goodness.
No, that is kind of a weird.
Little quick on the trigger there, Jerry.
Strange reaction.
Come on.
Strange reaction.
For Tony Scraby, Sam Levitt's pregame next. We'll catch up to you when the All-Star break begins on Monday. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye.